WIIFTV PM.
WIIFTVP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTVP. Media's just for you and me.
All roads lead to Solo Beauty Supply, the largest Black-owned beauty supply in Chicago. We carry a large selection of natural hair care products, plus much more. So come see us at one of our two locations, located at 9011 South Ashland or 8158 South Cottage Grove. Our inventory is growing, and with your support, Solo Beauty will continue to be a source of pride in our community.
Keep calling me, give you some love and you want all of it. I'm out here working, nigga, get a grip. I'm just trying to touch a million, you just wanna coexist. I say you clingy and you contradict. Give you my heart, you think it's counterfeit. Give you my word and you won't trust in it. What's the point of loving me if you don't know what trust is? I need the is you give now. Please don't back down on me. You've got the attention I need. Put your pride aside for me. Oh, 'cause I need that ease. Put your pride aside for me. That ease. While I'm out trying to get that ease. Know that I need that ease. Put your pride aside for me, baby. You're insecure, it's driving me crazy. I'm trying to get it and you keep on saying it all my love, it's never enough. I put up with you for too long, now I'm over it. You want affection, I need money, I'ma call it quits. That is, that is, that is. Put your pride aside for me. That is. While I'm trying to get it, need it. That is. Put your pride aside for me. Put it aside, 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 put it aside. Put your pride aside, put it aside. Put your pride aside for me. You see me, you see him, my best friend. He hold me down like ankles fighting the waves. Up not to my crime, yeah, I do time. Till I'm with you, I'll be counting the days. Yeah, ooh, been through so many things, but we always get through. Yeah, ooh, it ain't always perfect, but it's worth it. This is deeper than the surface. If I said I didn't love you, you would not know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide to make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, some magic, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy love. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy love. I never thought that I would give it to you, but now I don't think it's the time. I won't do it. I think it's cause the way you talk to me. Know how to say it without making me feel little. You're gracious even when you pop off on me. When you get done, I got a little something to drop off on you. Because you earned it with the time you took to put it that way. You got me liking to get put in my place. I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide to make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, some magic, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy love. Easy, you make it easy.
WIFTBPM.
Uh-oh, what's in it for the black people?
You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Todd Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happening in town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you can put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that makes us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to Senate. We need some different players in the game to handle business. So many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA gets spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get their steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let this give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And up the seal carry, I stay with the pipe. For Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this is a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked is so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked is so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. Back on in the morning, 6:16 a.m. Had a little hiccup trying to get ready to go. You know, first day of school, first day back at school after spring break, and you kind of Now, honestly, I got to tell y'all, I had to take an Uber here this morning. Got up Saturday morning in my car. I went to go get something to get my coffee, and I heard a ka-chunk. Then I put the car in gear, and I heard I was like, uh-oh, let me just park this bad boy. I'm feeling some kind of way, Riis, because I done spent a lot just getting the car in order. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like every time I get a car back, it be something else. So I had to take an Uber here this morning, and I had a Russian Uber driver, so I was a little nervous because, all the things going on. I was like, oh, shoot. Especially after yesterday. But I am here in the building, and we got the whole squad ready to rock and roll. We missed y'all in the morning. Don't get used to it, because I'm not sure we only here till the 30th of June. But Ruthie, I couldn't go out. I felt the way that I needed to be back in the seat. Like, I think we've been right here for every election since I've been in the game. And I felt like I couldn't miss an election cycle, because as we get closer and tighter to this race, and it's the first time in June too, had to be here for it. So we are going to be here rocking and rolling all the way through election day to June 30th, and then we will take a break. And then we'll come on back to you. But this is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, like she finna go to church. How they say I was church. Church, you a tabernacle. Church on the move. You got your blazer on. Riis, she got on a blazer, she got on a skirt, and she got on stockings. Do you got heels too?
No, I'm not taking it too far.
Ruthie, do you wear heels? Okay. All right, so does that make you like 5'3"?
You got jokes.
Good morning. I'm not gonna mess with you too early.
Too early, Maze. I ain't.
Hey, you ain't there yet. You not back yet. What's up, Ruthie Mo? How you feeling this morning?
Good.
Oh, look at that on a Monday.
Tired.
Look at the squad. It's like, I had to hit the Voltron button yesterday. So get ready to be sleepy.
What's the Voltron button?
Voltron Unite. I need everybody. All hands on the
when
deck.
they come together.
Yeah, be like, what? I really used to watch Battle of the Planet, so I really wasn't a Voltron dude. But didn't Voltron have like a bunch of lions and stuff that jumped together?
I don't know.
And
I
then
thought Voltron was Transformers.
No, Voltron was like the lions, and they all came together, and then they turned into like a.
We ain't have no cable.
We didn't have cable neither.
We had an antenna.
We did too. Don't
Yeah,
be trying to don't play me. Yes,
Yeah,
you know Reverend Jackson was not hearing that devil's cable in the house. Now he'll watch him a DVD like a mug, not a DVD, one of them laser discs. I'll be like, now ain't that the same thing? How ain't we sinning? Is this a different kind of sin? Is it a sin because it's on the TV as compared to because it be naked women in both of these? I was like, but that's okay. If that's what
Semantics.
if that's I'll take it. Hey, if we go watch Purple, if I can't watch Purple Rain on cable, but we can watch it on Laserdisc. Hey, just make sure you don't cut out the Lake Minnetonka scene. Whatever you do, I'll never forget watching the Lake Minnetonka scene with my dad. I can't tell you, Ruthie.
I ain't never seen Purple Rain.
Okay,
I'm gonna see it one day because you talk about it like it's.
you've never seen Purple
everybody's
Rain?
Supposed to watch.
I feel like now you'd be in trouble for it. Prince probably be in trouble, like when they threw a girl in the garbage can. They was womenizers. They was, it was all of the stuff. It was domestic violence. I remember the part when she was like, "I'm joining Morris's band," and the drums went, "Brr, brr, brr." And Prince, can you imagine being Apollonia being slapped down by Prince, who is like up to your knee? Like it was, anyway, one of the most epic movies of all time. At one point, I think it's in the top 100 movies of all time in the United States. I think it is. I remember Roger E. I mean, it really is like, that was like the soundtrack of my youth. That movie was like, captured my adolescence. I told you it ruined me. I thought I was a combination of Prince and Morris Day. So I used to want to be light skinned so bad. Be like, my mother be like, that old rat's nest he got on top of his head, and why he got on biker shorts? Anyway, it is the Mace Jackson Show. Ruthie Moore is in here. Ruthie, you got a big day today. I think you directing your first joint.
How I get recruited for this? Because at first I was.
You was just the production assistant.
Just keep coming.
You was the production assistant. Now
See, this is the problem. When you do stuff good, you just get more. I should have messed up a little bit.
See, that's the millennial way to think. Instead of saying, Dad, you shouldn't have messed up. You should be like more responsible.
Nah, I'm just playing.
Look, I'm telling you.
I got this covered.
Ruthie, but the directors don't be that dressed up. They be like, chop. They be extra bummy.
But because I look so like a young person, I gotta sometimes put on the blazer. Otherwise, they ain't gonna listen to me. They gonna be like, who you?
I need you to sit right there, sir.
They gonna be like, who is you?
I'm like, I'm Ruthie MFMO.
Who is you?
You thought I was. All right, it's the Maze. That's Ruthie Moore. They be like, oh, Ruthie be fronting. You know, they be like, oh, you're Ruthie. Man, I promise you, I'm a little upset. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Uh-oh. Shout out to my man on time. Look, Riis looking like, what I do? DJ Riis the Ruler on the ones and twos. DJ Riis the Ruler, how you feeling? Back to your old time clock, I see.
Bless. You know the rest. You want to know something crazy? That
you forgot.
Is I've been so used to the other one that I ain't been asleep yet.
Riis, can I tell you what?
I ain't been asleep.
Can I tell you what?
What's up?
I could not sleep all night.
I ain't been asleep.
I got in the bed at 11 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, and I literally was up the whole night, and I got a whole crazy day today too. It's gonna be like I'm gonna run out of.
I made myself go to sleep.
I couldn't. I was in the bed close my eyes, close my eyes, close my eyes, close my eyes.
I wasn't sleepy. It was like 12 o'clock. I was like, I'm not sleepy. It was so weird. I was like, yeah. And then
I play these games with y'all today.
Look at that. So I'm going. So I'm still on yesterday. I'm still woke.
All right. Well, you said you still woke. You know, we talked about woke racists last week. Speaking of woke. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit later. All right, y'all. It's the Maze Jackson Show. Maze, Riis, and Ruthie all back in the morning. Looks like we are ready. So let's get the soul plane up to 60,000 feet. We are up in a way. All right, Riis. Ruthie. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but something is cracking with the police in the city of Chicago and getting shot at. Did you see that there was another shooting? One. So this is the third police shooting, where the police, last week they shot a police officer in Inglewood on a traffic stop. Then a DEA agent tried to raid and on the northwest side, and they shot the dog and the agent. Mm-hmm. Then yesterday there was another traffic stop in Inglewood, in which the suspect apparently parked the car at a car stop, went in the dead end, and then jumped out and started busting. And the police shot him, and he shot a police officer.
You think these people just trying to get away, or they actually trying to engage in combat with the police?
I think they're engaging.
You say they're engaging?
Uh-huh. I think the badges keep getting higher. if that makes sense.
I think it's people trying to get away.
You think okay? I think that even if it is, I think it's people trying to. Okay, I honor that it's trying to get away, but it's like you ain't taking me alive.
I think it's you're not taking me at all.
Oh, okay, all right.
I don't know. In my mind and in my heart of hearts, I don't want to believe that people are engaging in police
Targeting.
combat. Yeah, targeting just for the sake of trying to shoot up the police.
No, I don't think that is the case.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like, hey Joe, anybody can get it. So if you come up on me, don't think I'm like, it's not like I'm pulling over and you get to search the car. Right? You know how Jay be like, I got a few bucks, I can fight the case. Dude, like I got a few bullets, I'm gonna fight the chase. Ooh, look how I did that. Instead of fighting the case, I'm gonna fight the chase. I got a few bullets, I could fight the chase. But he got shot. He's in the hospital. I wonder, do they take you to the hospital to keep you alive so that they could torture you, or what? Like why wouldn't you just, if somebody shot you, why wouldn't you just let them bleed out?
Because they like to look at them, pinch them, do all types of stuff. You shoot a police officer, they gonna keep you alive. Straight up. I don't blame them. I keep you alive too. And you not gonna have a good time wherever you at.
Hey, Riis, why you back there grinning, man? Riis, you always be grinning, dog. Like, you be like, what's funny, dog? That's not funny. Ruthie talking about they can pinch you. Pinch you?
I mean, I'm talking about
you like they pinching you while you like.
If you shoot an officer and you in police officer custody alive, you ain't gonna have a good time.
You don't think?
Nor should you.
Okay.
I ain't saying torture is okay.
No, I'm not either.
Saying,
I'm saying you. Right. I get it. So, ooh, that's deep. Okay. Did you say they're keeping did you see they're keeping the COVID low now? Apparently the COVID is like all over the place right now. And nobody's talking about it, especially Governor Pritzker. They ain't got no more Dr. Ezike to make everybody feel like, oh.
They have used COVID for their political gains already. To bring it back up would be doing the Dems a disservice. Because remember, that was the Republican way they was gonna get the Dems out of office. But the Dems said, no, we finna forget about COVID. And then now it's like, if we could just not talk about this, then maybe they'll forget about the restrictions that we had and the.
They was like, no mask, no way, no how. There's no mandate.
No COVID. What you talking about? It's no COVID. We ain't shutting down no businesses. Everybody good. The numbers is up, but we good, y'all.
Right. We're all vaccinated. You vaccinated?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did you see the 12-year-old who shot the 8-year-old neighbor? That was one of those unfortunate stories I feel like I used to hear about all the time when I was a kid, where the next door neighbor has their daddy or mama gun. And they shot the gun. It's like it's a play gun, and they shot the gun in the ground, fortunately, and it just grazed the 8-year-old's thigh. But parents, put them guns up. Lock them up. I understand having them. Just lock them up. Did you see the Democrats have agreed to have a they're going to coordinate. We're going to talk about that because I think we've missed a lot of people in the morning, so I want to bring y'all up to speed on most of the political stuff that I've been seeing and going to and checking out in the meanwhile. But Ruthie, they're going to coordinate because the world is, do you think they're finally accepting the fact that Robin Kelly is the boss, or do you think they're going to try and pull it again on him?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right? Like, because I think this election, so the state central committee elections that are happening in this election cycle that we really don't pay attention to probably will give us an opportunity to see who's going to be in the space. Like, there's a young wave of people like Marcus Evans, who are running against people like Bobby Rush to take over the state central committee. And you understand the state central committee is the committee for the Democrats. It's like a local committeeman, or it's a national committeeman, and you vote on all the policy and everything for the DNC, the platform.
That's the power?
That's the national power in state central committee. It's not, they vote on the state party chair, and then the state party. We've had a dysfunctional state party, but now that we're getting back into the Democratic swing of things, now that the speaker is no longer, now that Speaker Madigan is no longer there, we're starting to move towards being part of the National Democratic Party as compared to the local, more clandestine Democratic Party.
Yeah, because Illinois is popping. Illinois about to become one of them
first states.
Is that what it's called?
Nah, it's not called the first states, but it is.
It's like taking over Iowa, right?
Right. There's Illinois there. We're vying to be one of the first states because they can't guarantee they can't guarantee the front runner coming out of the Iowa caucuses. And the Iowa caucuses is kind of stupid to be putting all your hope in somebody sitting in a room throwing pennies in a bucket. I did go to Iowa. It's like, but what's crazy is it means that it is a complete shift in our political tradition. It's like Iowa used to be, but it also talks about how different the country is now. Because Iowa used to be like Democrats used to be rural America, and now they like ain't nowhere in the world in Iowa you winning as a Democrat, except for in the blended county.
But really, too, I do feel like with Illinois becoming a first state, it really speaks to the power and money of J.B. Pritzker.
I agree. But it's going to be crazy to see what happens in this election if Richard Irvin becomes the governor. That's why he's fighting so hard to make sure that he doesn't. He's spending almost as much money as the Republicans against Richard Irvin.
Yeah, he hate Richard so much he funding Darren Bailey.
Man. Oh Lord. It's like the funny thing about Richard Irvin's campaign though is if you even whisper something about him, they got a commercial for it. They be like, yeah, they said Darren Bailey was a Democrat. He'd be like, I wasn't a Democrat. Look, then they got I mean, that boy got at least 10 commercials.
They got the text messages. They got everything.
They got everything against them and everything for. Think about the fact that I just can't believe how much money the Democrats are spending. Like, I don't know how JB can put his name on a.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd be like, dang, dog. This is like.
Richard Irvin likes white women.
Paid for by the
Democratic Governors Association of America.
Dang. Right, like. That sounds so foul to me.
It's like I'm like nobody cares about this.
Now that wasn't JB though. That's Dan Proft. That is the Dan Proft commercial. But that's the straight dog whistle commercial. Like that's the kind of like the not white woman, but I seen that. That was funny. But that to me was like the straight dog whistle commercial. And they added words. They did. They like the ad says my boyfriend is the mayor, and the voiceover says the mayor of Aurora. Right? And it's like they add. It's crazy, man. Anyway, this campaign cycle and season has been crazy. Who is doing the Richard Irvin born signs? Let me tell y'all something.
You seen some Richard Irvin signs?
Oh, they got them all. They like it was funny because it was like one day. They hit everything, and then it was like the next day, like all the other signs was up. It was just their signs was off. But let me tell you, the funny thing is, and this is funny, the Republicans order the bag signs. Are you familiar with that? Like, so there's two kinds of signs. It's like the corrugated plastic sign that you used to see, which are the squares that everybody puts in the ground. And then they steal and, that whole thing. Then Republicans, but those signs are very expensive. Republicans do the bag sign, which is you get a U-shaped rod, put it in the ground, and then you slide a bag over it. And the bag is like a plastic bag that you just slide down, and it says their names. And it's cheap because you only have to pay for the wire, and then the plastic is so much cheaper than getting the corrugated plastic. So that's how Republicans do their campaign signs, particularly when they come to the urban areas. But the thing is, what they don't realize is like the bag sign makes it very easy for somebody to do litter removal. which is because now instead of having to carry a bunch of signs, I could just take the bags off and ball them up. Right? So it's like you see all these U's up all over the city. With no signs on them, because somebody has come by and just taken up all of the bags. Little trick. I mean, it seems easy. I mean, they seem so much cheaper, and it's always a debate. But if you have opposition, then don't order bag signs.
The cost is much higher, right?
Right. You gonna spend more time trying to cover them.
Low key, when I got up today and I, did my drive in, looking around. Now I feel like the signs are like excessive. Before it was like doable, moderate. Okay, I'm driving. I can read this one. I can read that one. But now it's like everybody done put their signs up. So to me, it just looks like cluttered messes of litter.
I'm
put my sign in front of this person's sign.
Well, I feel like it's the competitive spirit, right? That happens in the sign. It's like now sign wars. Now I would think that the campaign that I know shouldn't really be in a sign war. Nobody should really be taking the signs of our campaign or not of our campaign.
Some that look like it.
Well, some people did. But my point is, with the only time there should really be sign wars is if somebody is trying to, I could see possibly sign wars in the congressional race, right? Because it's 17 candidates, right? And so I could see maybe, but I don't really feel like there's a lot of opposition in the black community right now where we should be worrying about sign wars. I think that, so I just feel like, y'all be respectful out there, right? But if y'all see somebody, man, better leave them alone. All right. I got a call yesterday. Somebody was like, hey, man. I was like, you want me to call them peoples on them? They was like, man, somebody was taken up. I was like, was it a black person? Who would be black that would possibly be? Anyway, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl Ruthie Moore, my man DJ Riis. We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna finish these headlines, and then we're going to ask the social media question of the day. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Broken screen, crash system. Are you in need of spyware or virus removal from your computer? Well, contact RPC Computer Repair in South Shore and let us help you with all your computer repair services and print needs. Need office or print production services, copies, scans, fax, or even notary service? Then stop by and support RPC Computer Repair and Print Shop, located 1741 East 71st Street in the 71st Street corridor, newly revitalized South Shore areas, and let RPC be your one-stop shop, where we believe RPC is your PC. RPC Computer Repair is also a UPS access point where you can drop off and pick up your important packages. So let RPC be of service to you. Call RPC Computer Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. at 773-966-4457. That's 773-966-4457. Visit RPC at rpccomputeringinc.com for more information.
And now, traffic and weather.
Yo, who said devotion has to be sad? Yo, check this out. The Lord is my shepherd, I want. He's making me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. God's gonna turn it around.
Come all the way with me.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 6:40 a.m. and I'm Riis the Ruler with your Chicagoland area sports, traffic, and weather update. I just head over to sports. The Chicago Cubs lose in the 11th as they fall 5-3 to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Sox would beat the Rays 6-5. The Chicago Sky wins 91-82 over Washington. Let's head over to traffic now on the Kennedy. O'Hare to the Loop is 30 minutes. Outbound to O'Hare will be 27 on the Eatons. Deerfield to the Exchange, 32 minutes. Exchange to Deerfield will be 27, while the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop, 37 minutes. 29 minutes back out to Thorndale. On the Stevenson from I-355 to the Dan Ryan will be 36 minutes. Outbound is 32. The Bishop Ford, I-80 to the Dan Ryan, 35 minutes. 31 minutes to I-80, while the Dan Ryan is 18 minutes to the Loop, 12 minutes to 95th. On DuSable Drive South, 55th to Jackson will be 8 minutes. Jackson to 55th will also be 8. And on the north side, Randolph to Bryn Mawr and Bryn Mawr to Randolph will be 7 minutes. Today's weather, it is currently 70 and mostly cloudy. Today will be a high of 79 with a low of 59. I'm Riis the Ruler. Happy Monday here on The Maze Jackson Show.
Come all the way with me. Don't leave me now. Come all the way with me. Oh, please. God's gonna turn it around. God's gonna turn it around. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane, God to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane, God to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane, God to the grave, from the grave. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane, God to the grave, from the grave. Dear Lord, it's me again. God's gonna turn it around. I'm calling on you. You did it before. I believe that you can do it again. Somebody calling you right now, Lord. If it ain't one thing we need, somebody else needs you for another. Please, son, look and have mercy. Have mercy over our home, Lord. Have mercy. Have mercy. God's gonna turn it around. God's gonna turn it around. God's gonna turn it around. God's gonna turn it around.
Who said devotion has to be sad? Yo, check this out. The Lord is my shepherd, I want. He's making me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. God's gonna turn it around.
Come all the way with me. Don't leave me now. Come all the way with me. Oh, please. Please don't leave me now. Please don't leave me now. Please. From glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane, God to the grave, from the grave back to glory.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ruthie Moore. Shout out to everybody who went to shout out to Brutus and Brian yesterday for their panel that they put on. It was they put on a pretty good panel. Voter education. Shout out to everybody who came out. Shout out to BP1. Shout out to all of the candidates who were in the building. No safe space in the black community, though. No safe space. Like no more.
It ain't safe. It ain't safe.
No more. We can't be safe. Right.
Or how about no comfort?
How about
you can feel safe, but you ain't gonna be comfortable.
How about no refuge? I feel like you shouldn't even get a platform, and like why should we even give you a platform after you done castigated us, you done thrown our issues and concerns and turned us no safe space.
You say no safe space.
No safe space. No platforms. No more none of that. It's the Maze Jackson Show. That's what I'm talking about. Boppers and boppettes. Y'all might need to watch. The Warriors come out and play. Ruthie, you ain't never seen the Warriors?
Maze, I know that.
But have you seen the Warriors?
Dave Chappelle remade it and turned it into breast milk. And that's why I know what you're talking about. When you hit the bottles together. And
the most classic, iconic scene, Warriors. Nope. He had 3 pop bottles. Y'all don't even know what a pop bottle is.
I know what a pop bottle is.
And
like
then it was like
bottle.
boppers. And it was like you was running. They was trying, and the Warriors was trying to get back to Coney Island. And it was like, boppers and boppettes, they are now on the train. Y'all make sure so y'all listen to me, because boppers and boppettes, we want to make sure that there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide.
The word bopper is not a good thing to call somebody nowadays.
Boppers and boppettes. What's that, the police?
No.
What is a bopper?
If you don't know, I ain't going
Oh, Lord. It's not like Big Breakfast, is it?
No.
BBW.
You ain't never heard nobody call nobody no bopper?
Yes, as a dancer, like
that's
boppers.
Crazy. Reese, you heard somebody call that somebody in a derogatory way?
That's some country stuff. Huh. That's some Pembroke stuff. Boppers. They go to boppers.
No, not boppers. Boppers.
What is it? A crackhead?
I'll tell you.
Okay. Boppers and boppettes. Boppers and bopperettes. So we don't be in Ruthie's slang linguistics.
Man.
More with more. Shout out to David Moore. You know, it's kind of crazy. Shout out to Alderman David Moore, who is running for Secretary of State. Like, I feel like with all this mudslinging commercials that's going on TV, I feel bad that he don't have none. But it's kind of like, like one day you just wish somebody would just be like, you know what? With all your filth and flaring and filth, and your filth and flaring and filth, you know what? I'm going to just go for the guy in the middle. Because it'd be like at the debates, they'd be like, wait, what?
Are you?
I wish. And I wish I never met her at all. Dang, that's what I'm talking about.
He still love her so.
Huh?
He love her so, though.
Singing off key. And I wish I never met her at all. Right? That's how it go. All right, you tripping. Shout out to David Moore, Alderman David Moore. We're going to give a political update at
more for
7
more.
o'clock. More for David Moore. I like David Moore. I can't even trip. Let's see what else we got. Laura Washington moved to from the Sun-Times to the Tribune. Yep, she got her first article today, and she said...
Are you serious?
Yep, and she said...
Whoa.
You see, Ruthie, was you not listening on Friday?
What you say?
Laura Washington was moving to the Tribune.
I didn't know. I must have missed that.
Yep, she is now a Tribuner.
What's her first article about?
We need a woman's touch.
Is that what it was?
In the 1st Congressional District.
So she Karen or Pat Dow? That's what she trying to get.
I think she is. So if I was talking about that race right now, I would say the 3 front runners are...
Who you got?
Jonathan Jackson, Pat Dow, and Jackie Collins.
Ooh.
Those are the 3 to me right now that are in contention. I feel like Swain, I'm waiting to see what Swain does.
I feel like all the cool people going with Swain. Like all the cool Hat Parker people like that be in them summer festivals.
That's going to be a split though. Because there's another cool candidate in the race.
Which one?
It's a young lady in the race, too. Shall remain nameless. However...
Might not be that cool then.
Okay, so no, I think the cool vote gets split between Swain and Sharice Williams.
Oh!
Right? They both fit in that. They both fit into that.
Yeah.
Like
it's a name. I call them them house head people.
No, I don't know if she's that. I don't think that fits. She
ain't gonna get them house head people.
Right, well, because he also throwing the right, because he's in that in between space.
He gonna get them house head Hyde Parkers, and it's a lot of them, and some of them got money.
That's true. That'd be interesting. So we're gonna talk about the. I'm sorry, we're gonna talk about the congressional race in a minute.
Laura Washington
moved on. She moving on up,
I hope
moving on up to
sis.
The thing is, the Sun-Times is a non-profit, so the Tribune is still for profit. So, you know what I'm saying, they done cut things down, so they trying to probably keep some stuff around. So we have to check that out. Yep, I agree with you, Lynette Warbington, that the women are going to split the vote unless one here's how I see that race though. I also see TV playing a role. Like, who in that race will come out with TV spots to close out the race? Right? So Jonathan, Jackie Collins, and Pat Dow, to me, will be in the space of money, they don't have to buy broadcast necessarily. They can buy a small amount of broadcast and then buy cable, because they got a couple zones that they could hit. What's the matter?
I'm thinking, what about them YouTube guys? I see the most political ads on YouTube as a person that does not watch TV.
Right, but you know where the best ads should. I'm not gonna tell you where they should be.
Don't give them no game today.
I'm not gonna give them no game today, but I need to go check. But the broadest audience is still TV. It's still broadcast TV. So YouTube ads, I think you get that with the over the top, and I think that'd be part of your digital buy. But I think when you think about who are going to be the actual voters, again, especially in a low turnout primary, it'll be seniors. So especially in the black community, because Riis, anybody you know talking about voting, they feeling all excited about voting?
Oh yeah. We
Who?
voting this year.
Who? We are? Y'all are?
Yeah.
Who y'all voting for? All right, that's
you know.
Right. All right, we got.
Hey,
what the sheriff's department better be getting on their business. I know everybody at the sheriff's office better be on the team.
You see, she got back on the ballot
again.
Yeah.
At the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I seen her yesterday.
Yeah, she won.
I seen her yesterday.
She won. They tried to get her, and then
go on here, Latanya.
I got my little ballot in the mail.
But the dude that's like,
you got what ballot in the mail?
Like whoever been there for like 6
Latanya, right?
Her name is on there.
From who?
From the Board of Elections.
Oh, you got to vote by mail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You vote by mail?
I got to keep options. You never know what was going to happen.
Okay. Okay. I got
and plus, and low key, I'll be liking to get an early snapshot. I'm an in-person voter, but I do like to get a ballot, like just in case. I'd be liking to look at it a little early.
Okay. All right. Sneak peek.
Get a little sneak peek. Make sure everything looking good on there.
I seen Latanya yesterday at the Brian and Brutus. She was there on the sheriff's debate, on the sheriff's panel. Sex offender housing. We're going to talk about that at 7:30. You was like, that was a big
put a transition in there or something?
Well, that's apparently what's happening.
Transitional housing, right?
Housing for how much you think that some people get for that, paid for per unit?
So I got put on to like sex offender housing because I'm a big person that looks into the sex offender registry very frequently to see what's going on in my neighborhood. And since I live by, like a school, I don't really got to worry too much about sex offenders living in my vicinity. But what I learned from, just looking in the little Illinois registry, I said, why do all these sex offenders all got the same address? And I said, because they live in sex offender transitional housing. I guess that would be a way. So that's actually how I got put on to it, was looking at the concentrated sex offenders in certain areas.
Somebody came to me about this last week and said that they had just gotten a sex offender home in their community. And then there was a big thing going on in Joliet where there was a house put on a block, and apparently 6 sex offenders who were registered for committing child crimes against children under the 13 were all in the same block, residential block where kids went out to play. And the meeting got so heated that parents threatened to burn the house down, to kill, and nobody kind of, apparently one of the issues was that nobody elected spoke up. And so I want to talk about it, just because, and then I was like, well, you know me. You know the first thing I did was, what's the economics of it? $226,000 a year to fund a sex offender that is released.
For one?
That's like services and everything, but it costs between 226 and now maybe that might be California, but let's just say let's cut that in half, like per year. I want to talk about it at 7:30, because there's a move for affordable housing for sex offenders, and I might. So
what type of sex? You know what I'm saying? Like,
so I said it was scalable, but I said it was scalable. But
it's a nuanced thing,
right? I do think it's a nuanced thing. But when you think about 6 people moving on your block who have committed crimes against children under 13.
Okay, so see now that's what a different category.
I'm not talking about the 17, 15.
Okay.
6. You're
specifically talking about violence, sex crimes committed against young people
children
under a certain age.
Right. Children. Period.
I'm gonna burn that mug down too.
Ooh, see now, we're gonna talk about this in a minute, because I do think it's something that, I think it's perspective. I think we need to think about the perspective, because it's. So as I was reading the article, I clicked, and there is a whole resource page at Cook County for sex offenders. Like, I didn't realize that. Like, I kind of was like, oh, wow. As
a protector of children, I have always realized that now. And everybody got rights.
Right. But I got, when I started really paying attention to this a little bit, was when I started working on my credit. And when you get credit repair, not credit repair, but when I started monitoring it every day. Shout out to my sister who demanded that I get on top of my credit. And she's like, you too old to be running around here talking about, I don't want to. So shout out to my sister who made me get my credit, and my wife who was like, boy, if you don't. Anyway. But part of my credit thing is, it's like it gives, if you're on the dark web, it then also has this thing that alerts when a sex offender moves within proximity. And I was like, holy moly. So look, as a best practice, if you ain't going on that site at least twice a year to see what done sprouted up within a certain number of miles of your address or your zip code, you are likely doing a disservice to yourself and your community. Well, I'm just here to tell you, I had to turn it off, because I'd be like, I wouldn't even walk to the damn store.
Maze, I take that very, very seriously. Like, I'm pulling up your picture. I'm seeing if you properly registering, if you live within a certain amount of me. And we just have to be more vigilant in that way. Like, and like you said, like, that specific category of sex offender that you named, because it's levels. It's levels to sex offenders. And if you done violated a baby, I don't want you on my block. I don't even want you in my community. So I can understand those people having strong feelings about, nah.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about it, because, we're going to talk about that. I think it's a real interesting topic. And then the last thing I want to talk about is pay for it instead of free. Have you ever, Ruthie, as I've gotten older, so I used to spend a lot of time being calling around, making sure that I was on the list, or calling somebody to prove that I could get into an event for free, or, I'm VIP and blah, 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 and make sure that I'm on the list, and, calling in advance, and, all of that stuff, until I got to a point where I was just automatically, walk in, whatever. And then I kind of got into politics, got out of entertainment, and so then it required a lot of work to be doing all of that. And so I decided one day that, you know what, instead of calling people trying to get free tickets to something, et cetera, I'm just going to buy them. And I was wondering, and it's kind of like the same way I felt about school, right? Like for my son and my daughter. Like I was seeing so many things and I was just like, finally, like I'm going to pay for it, right? Like I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to be mad that there's issues with the teachers and blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to pay for it. And I got to thinking about this article that I read in the paper today about the schools that do fundraising and the differences in the levels of services that schools have. Like when they talk about school inequity, a lot of times the schools are funded equally unless they got the Title I program, which is the free lunch program, which gets you additional funding. But why, like I think I was looking at these private white schools or schools public schools up north in white neighborhoods where all these wealthy white people send their kids. And I was like, why do they send their kids to the local public school? Well, apparently, Ruthie, they fundraise to pay for the inequity in their schools. And so I want to talk about
like booster club type of things,
like a parent club, and then they do fundraising. Like some schools raise up to the difference in, let me just give you an idea. So at one school, Lincoln School on the north side in Lincoln Park area, for fundraising, they raised $532,667. And then they had another $178,000 that they raised for their band program. That was like that was not the top fundraising school on the north side. One of the top fundraising schools on the south side is Lennart. And everybody on the south side brags about getting their kids in Lennart, right? Like not everybody, but a lot of people. Ruthie, they're one of the top fundraisers on the south side. Guess how much they raised?
$50,000.
$20,000.
Oh my God.
$20,000. And then because they're a so-called good school with that in between black people that they don't get the free lunch, then the school doesn't get the Title I money, so they wind up getting less funding. It's really a crazy scenario because it's like it really is a demonstration of like the difference between kind of like our idea of bougie. Well, let's talk about it when we come back. It's the Maze Jackson Show. Maze, Riis, and Ruthie will be back.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
WIIFTBPM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the divine mind. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Week events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Week members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
across the water. And I think of all the things, what you're doing. And in my head I paint a picture. Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. But won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Did you have to go to jail? Put your house on up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? I hope you didn't catch a tan. I hope you find the right man who'll fix it for you. And are you shopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair. Are you busy? And did you have to pay this fine that you've been dodging all the time? Are you still dizzy? Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Oh, stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water and I think of all the things, what you're doing. In my head I paint a picture. Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, babe? Why don't you come on over,
WIFT PM.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
Riis, Ruthie, and explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we're united, who we gon' stop? If they ain't trying to help us, they ain't trying to do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect your oppressed to solve.
up, Chicago? Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Oh, wow. Ruthie, I'm looking at these campaign disclosures, and it seems like one of our violence prevention organizations has jumped in. So, wait, you mean to tell me that... Don't tell me that the streets ain't getting paid to work against the people now, are they? I really would hate to... That's kind of crazy that you would put your name on something like that. Look at that. Look what I'm looking at on this page right here. So this is this guy, right? Mm-hmm. And then look right here. Policy director for Chicago.
Nice amount too.
That's a lot for the I hope the streets now show her. Hey, Ruthie, remember when I told you our own warriors were being financed against us? Mm-hmm. How is that possible? I guess my question is anyway, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ruthie Moore. Got my man, DJ Riis, the ruler. And I want to talk about one of the stories that I saw in the Chicago Sun-Times today about the fundraising. It was a WBEZ Chicago Sun-Times report in which they said that fundraising, they listed the fundraising at some of the top Chicago schools, and they really focused on the difference in the comparisons between two. First of all, did I say what's up to everybody? You know what I did not do, Riis? Because we done switched the times. I forgot to say what's up to the Saints. Shout out to the Saints. If you are tuned into the Maze Jackson Show, you can catch us every day, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. 6 to 9 a.m. If you are the sinners. If you the Saints, I'm sorry, I'm kicking your chair. If you one of the Saints, if you are part of the Saints, then you can check us out from 6:30 to 8 every day, Monday through Friday on WBGX 1570 AM. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Riis, open up the phone lines. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. That's right, it is the Maze Jackson Show, and I am about to ask the social media question of the day. Riis, you ready? Give me with the big voice.
It's time for the social media question of the day.
Is fundraising an option for improving black schools? Is fundraising an option for better black schools? Now, let me tell you what drove this question. What drove this question was there was a story in the Sun-Times about Lennart School. How many of you all know who Lennart is? And if I'm correct, Lennart is one of the pride of the South Side schools. I think it's somewhere close to the Beverly area, right? They call it, is it Cecil Party? Where is Cecil Party? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just say, and Google where Lennart School is. Lennart.
It's in
School.
Chatham.
Huh? Is it in Chatham? Okay.
West Chatham.
All right.
81st and LaSalle.
Okay, 81st and LaSalle. So Lennart is a pretty reputable school, and they compared it to Lincoln School on the north side, both elementary schools who both received CPS funding, but because of the income levels of the parents, they don't get a lot of Title I dollars. And Title I dollars are the extra money that you get for free and reduced lunch. So schools that have a high quotient of free and reduced lunches get additional funding to make up that difference. But in a school like Lennart, where the parents have a decent income and don't get free lunch, I would say probably a lot of parents would not want their child to get free lunch if they don't have to. Is that fair to say? Yes or no? Do you send your kid to try to get the free lunch? Or if you can afford not to, do you do it? I would say that if you know most black folks, they probably... No, I think that if a middle-class black person, if there's a free lunch option for the most part, I don't know that they take it. Especially in that Chathamish West...
Ain't nobody trying to pay for that school food.
But then you either send your kid with lunch or you give them money.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know, Maze. That's interesting. I would be curious.
Would
to
you?
see what the
Would you say, if your kid could if you thought you could sneak it and your kid could get a free lunch, would you let him? Like I would. You would?
Yeah.
Oh no way, no way.
Nobody trying to pay for that school food.
Well, first of all, I would be trying to make sure that that's the best option. But there's no way I would be trying to sneak free lunch. Like to make my kid get in the line with the green card, the pink card, and be like, I would feel like if I can afford the lunch, I'm gonna pay for it. Like I'm gonna pay write my little check or do my little online, and I'm not gonna try and beat the system. And I'm not going to be trying. I would say that if you look at a lot of those places, they're not going to say that they're not going to attempt to scam the system to get free lunch. There are no free lunches. What you mean? There's so many other perks associated with free lunch. Discounted internet, eligible for okay, so maybe I'm wrong. Okay, all right, I take that back then. My bad. But Lennart, because of its status, does not have as many free lunches, so they don't get the additional funding. They get almost the same amount of funding as the school on the north side. So now here you got a black school, a middle-class black school, and a middle-class white school on two sides of town. The fundraising difference at Lincoln School is they get no Title I funds at all. So their parents have raised an additional $532,667 in fundraising, plus another $178,000 to fund the pay-in band program. Conversely, on the south side, Lennart raises approximately $20,000 and receives $25,000 in Title I funds. So they use that to get one art teacher 1 hour per week per class. Meanwhile, at Lincoln with their $532,667, they get 1.5 art teachers plus 2 full-time music teachers, plus they have a band. They say that the parents on the north side, when the school comes up short, the families just make sure that their schools have everything that they have. Would fundraising be an option for black schools to improve? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. 872-259-7474. Should we raise money to close the gap? And how much would you be willing to raise? Like, would you write a check for $1,000? Would you pledge $1,000 a year to your child's school? That's $250 a quarter. Could you see yourself paying additional money to make sure that your child has a fully well-rounded education that includes arts, music, and the other bells and whistles? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Would you, Riis, would you give a school district an extra $1,000?
For some extra stuff?
If you knew your child could have a music class and an art class every day, like as part of her curriculum, would you commit an extra $1,000 a year to make sure that they had it?
I don't know, probably so. I don't know. I have to see the school.
No, I'm saying it's the school your kid goes to. You see it because that's the school your child goes to. And I'm saying that we come up, so for a full-time music teacher and a full-time music teacher, a full-time art teacher.
Why my taxes ain't paying for
that? Because maybe you ain't paying enough. I mean, if you getting free lunch, hold on. Your taxes paying for the free lunch.
Paying for that too.
Okay. So you're saying why isn't it? Let's just say it's not. So is the question why at your child's expense, or do you write the check? And that's kind of the difference. I'm not bugging out at you at all. I'm saying that's the difference. The difference is when I said earlier before, right? I could probably get on the phone and call around and be VIP if I called the right person. Or I can say, you know what? It may take me 3 hours to get that call in, or I could say I'm just going to buy the ticket and sit where I want to sit. Now, to me, I believe that, and it's part of the reason that we made the choice to put our kids in a different location, because we saw the variety of things that happened. And if everybody doesn't see the like, I would have left my kid in school if everybody was like, all right, we going to get us a art teacher, we going to get us a math, we're going to get all those things. I would say if everybody said we going to put in an extra 1,000 or an extra 500 to make sure that we got it and we meet the goal, I would be down with that. But to tell me, so I guess my question is, would you invest it extra in your child's public education?
I think people are more inclined to invest that in their child. If you got an extra band laying around, then you put that into your young person and get them their own personal enrichment services. I don't think people necessarily think about schools in that way to say, I got an extra 1,000, and if you put an extra 1,000 in, then all the young people will be able to have this program.
So why is the thought different north? Like, so, and I mean, it could just be down so bad. And then it goes back to my question of how much value will you put in education, right? Because again, I would tell you that.
Is value only money?
No, but I'm saying value is, if you ain't got the time, if you're not, it's either time or money. So if you ain't a math teacher, or excuse me, if you ain't a music teacher and you ain't donating 40 hours a week to teach math, if you're not donating the 40 hours a week in time to be a full-time teacher of that product, then yeah, it does. Let's go to the live line. Caller, you on the Mace Jackson Show. Caller, you there?
Yo, what's going on, bro?
What up, Devo? How you
Ruthie?
feeling,
What's
man?
up,
It was
Riis?
good to see you yesterday.
Hey, of course, man. Hey, man. We're gonna come out and support, man. Hey, as a member of a local school council, and we talk about this stuff in the budget. The funds aren't there to invest in these additional type of programs. So I remember when the boy was younger and he was in band at the school my daughter goes to. They had a gentleman come in and teach them jazz, but the school it wasn't a fundraiser for it. Like, he donated his time, you know what I'm saying? So, a lot of the schools just don't have the funding, the Title I money to make up for these additional programs. And that's just because the community don't have it. So, like Ruthie said, if you got an extra $1,000 laying around, you're going to have to prioritize is this the best use of this surplus that you have? And that's a decision that the parents have to make. You know what I'm saying? So the funding isn't, the school funding isn't equal. It's separate but unequal. Selective enrollment isn't equal. And this is just another ripple effect of the inequity in CPS.
Okay, so let me say this. I think, and this goes, thanks, Devo, first of all. This goes back to my question last week of how much value do black people put on education. And I think that if you look at the school as an anchor of your community, and that eventually everybody's going to some way pass through that bad boy as a neighborhood school, so your investment is maybe 8 years, 12 years, whatever it is. I just wonder, what will we be willing to sacrifice for education if it's a sacrificable goal? Go ahead. I know you're about to hit me. Go ahead. What you got?
No, just you're looking at value as money. We talked about last week that if a parent is waking their child up every day, sending them to school, walking them to school, driving them to school, picking them up on time, they're going to say that they are invested in their education for the most part.
I'm not debating that. I'm saying the next step, right? The next step is after it is making sure that the school, even if I drop you off to a
so it's money.
hellhole.
So it's money then.
There is yes, I think money allows you to buy what you need in the school. Now, I'm not saying that you can't volunteer there, and I'm not saying that you can't be there to make it a safe location. But if you want to round out your kid, right, because they don't see a value in the art program anymore, would you pay for it? Right? Like, would you collect, and I'm not saying even 1,000, would you say, if they said, make a pledge of 25, 50, 100, 1,000, 500, whatever, as we try to get a full-time teacher in our school, would you do it till you got to the goal? And how much would you put in? And I just said, I threw 1,000 out there because that's what they was talking about with the white folks. But like, could you fundraise around the fact in a black school that we want a full-time art teacher and a full-time music teacher?
You know what's the first thing Riis said?
What?
Where my tax dollars going to?
No, I'm with you.
And that's going to probably be the first thing that people, what y'all using the money for?
So my thing is, I guess my question would be when, and again, to our own detriment, right? Like, it's all cool that you say where the money go. I think the white folks is like, we don't trust the system.
No, their schools are better funded. Why does that have to fall on the backs of black parents?
Wait. If this, according to this article, the schools I thought were funded similarly equal. And I thought the difference was the Title I funds and the amount of money that the parents were willing to put in both schools.
If you asking me, I got to raise money for an art teacher. Like, come on.
So I'm saying that neither school had an art teacher or an art program. Neither one did. Right? So I'm saying, do you let your child go without because you proving a point to the government? I'm not tripping if that's what the case is.
I don't think it's necessarily proving a point.
Your shorty loses though. Let's go to the live line. Carly, you on the Mace Jackson show.
How you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
James, you woke up. You was not on our 3 o'clock list. You on the morning calls. What's up, dog?
Glad y'all back too. Hope it's permanent. You mentioned something about a lot of middle class black people not wanting to pay for the lunch. I can't remember how many years ago it was, but white people were running a scam. White people with money, they would give up custody of their children to like a family member or a friend or whatever, and they would go to college for free. You know, because I mean, you talking about lunch, that should be a given. You know, a child should be able to eat and not be concerned about, having money in their pocket to pay for those lunches, And as far as these fundraisers go, okay, yeah, a parent obviously should be concerned with the education their child receives, but at the same time, it seems like the government should be concerned with the education our children receive too, should be willing to invest. I mean, you can spend billions of dollars in Ukraine and give subsidies to these companies, and that a lot of them don't want to hire a lot of black people. You should at least be willing to invest in their education, and, they try to make the point where it's about taxes. They go into these schools, and that's how they determine how much money go into these schools. It shouldn't be like that, And I'm glad you're talking about this. I think I've heard you talk about it before in the past, but that should always be on the table. People shouldn't have to go. I remember when I was in grammar school, I had books with missing pages. I'll never forget that. And sometimes they wouldn't even allow you to take your books home.
What?
So, yeah, man. Well, I went to public school until 8th grade. Then I was in Providence St. Mel for a few years. And I spent my senior year at another public school. My education didn't really improve until I did the few years at Providence St. Mel High School on the west side. Yeah, man. So, a fundraiser for a public school, you pay taxes. What is the government trying to invest? Our money in, besides wars and the subsidies for a lot of these companies, just shipping money out to other people, and they don't want to give any. I think you got my point. I'm repeating myself. Thanks. Take my call.
Thanks, James, for calling in. You got anybody else up there, Reese? Anybody else? All right. So I guess that's kind of my premise in that if we don't have our own schools, what do we do to make our schools better? Like, so how do we reallocate the tax dollars to make sure that art, do you think art and like music are priorities for kids? I do. I remember playing my recorder and the ding, 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 and learning the notes and stuff like that. How important do you think those are to kids?
Uberly important.
So I think we got to figure out how do we reprioritize then the dollars that are spent to make sure that our children, like, I just feel it is amazing to me that there isn't math and art just automatically in schools. That's just fundamentally amazing to me. Or not, it was. And I guess that's kind of why you make a choice. Either you're gonna pay for it for your own kid, or go where everybody sees it the same way. All right, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. We're gonna take a quick break, and then when we come back, Ruthie, you got something you want to close on that one with?
That's why I joined the local school council, because there are so many inequities when you start comparing schools together. And hopefully, this is just my hope with being a new local school council member, is that then we can organize parents and community members to do those types of fundraisers, and it's just a regular part of the school year.
Right.
So, but you have to you got to retrain people's brains to thinking that way.
So I think we gotta, and I don't know that it's possible for us to just write a check for $1,000. So let me take that off the table. But I do think that if we knew that there was a budget and we had to have step-a-sets every week at the school gym to be able to pay to make sure that our kids had an art program or a full-time art program. It's crazy to me that they got 1 hour per one student per, right? Like, and that's the school that a lot of people brag about, right? On our side of town.
You said an hour per week, right?
Mm-hmm. Right? Like the teacher comes to school one day and everybody has to run through there for an hour and do they music for one. They get 1 hour.
That's called a checkbox.
But it is.
It's called a checkbox.
Okay.
Probably based on some type of learning standards.
Mm-mm.
Just like physical education. Some of these young people don't even have proper physical education.
Man, Charlie, I didn't know they didn't go to gym.
They just letting them play, and you get to check off that box.
I didn't know, I didn't know y'all didn't have, I didn't know recess went away. All right, I'm going to take this call, and then we're going to go and call you on the Maze Jackson Show. What's up? How much would you put in for your kids' public school?
Good morning, Maze and Ruthie. Welcome back to my time slot of the day.
Good morning, Cassandra Red. How you doing?
I am doing better than good now that you guys have woke me up this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, well.
School is this is a soft spot in my heart when you're talking about our public school system, because it's tied to our property tax, correct? So out here in the Southland, we're drowning. We're drowning with our property taxes. And my property tax went up from $7,500 to $10,041. 75% of my property tax goes to our school system. I got 7 taxing bodies on my taxes, and 75% of that go to the school district. 11% only go to my municipality. So when you look at that, that's choking us out, especially with my community being a senior community. We're deemed as a senior community because the minimum age here is 55. So we don't have kids over in our school district, but the school, our property tax and the value of our home is predicated on the school systems, right? So constitutionally, the state is constitutionally bound 50.00.1% supposed to be paying for K through 12. They are not paying their share. That their Constitution, it's on the Constitution, it's in the books that they're supposed to take care of that. Right now, the state is only paying 26%. So guess who that falls on the backs of? The homeowners. We have to make up the difference. This fundraising is ridiculous. Talking about raising money to put art back in the school, to put music back in the school, to put just the bare essentials back in the school. The money is there. We're not demanding that the state do what they constitutionally bound to do. There's no new legislation that has to be made. There's no bills that have to be created. It's in the Constitution. But if we don't come together as a Illinoisan to make sure or to demand that they do what they're supposed to do with a flat tax, I can go on and on, but I'm not. But I want everybody to tune into my Zoom every first and third Wednesday of the month. I talk about this. I try to educate the Illinoisans about exactly what this is all about. We can fix this. It's just a matter of we have to all come together because the precedent has already been set when they had that graduated income tax that they were trying to pass. And what did they say? No, we want a flat tax. We want a graduated income tax. So we want to do the same thing with property tax. But the only way we can do that is if we educate the residents so that it won't fail. And we'll have some state senators and some representatives that have a backbone that can carry this down there and make sure that it passed. So that's the problem. We just need a flat tax where everybody pays the same amount and the schools will be fully funded. If we have so many schools that's not fully funded, and then you have New Cheer and all of them that have a surplus, it's ridiculous. And we're out here in Matson and in Park Forest where our schools are not fully funded, and it comes on the back of us in the sense of a levy. They have levied us, and we're choking out. We're dying out here trying to fund the school. So there you have it. That's the answer. That's the real answer. Every first and third, hit me up. I'm going to put my Zoom in the chat so that people can get on our call because we talk about it. We break it down so that you can understand the formula.
Send me that information too, and we'll promote it as well on the page. Thank you, Cassandra, and you know how much we appreciate you, sis. Thank you so much. We got any other callers? Call you on the Maze Jackson Show. What's up? How much would you put in for your school?
Good morning. This is Miko.
What's up, Miko? Thank you for the ride yesterday. Always good to see you as my president, the president of What's in It for the Black People. What's up, baby girl?
Morning, welcome. Hey, can we get our tip dollars back? You say the school, yeah. What about that? Stop tipping our tax dollars and put it where it's supposed to go instead of Napier and things of that nature. How about that? Let's talk about that. Can we all just call Equip for Equality and start suing them about, first of all, you're undereducating our children in our communities. Let's talk about that. And then you want us to pay more? No. Let our tip dollars go and put them where they belong. In our neighborhoods and in our schools. Are anyone talking about that?
You are, and I'm gonna add it to my talking points. But in the meantime, what you gonna do about your child's art program in school? Are you just gonna pay for outside art class, which is what it seems like so many of our people do? We pay for extracurricular activities, whether it's the basketball.
It's called supplementing your child's education.
Don't be telling me what to do. I know what it's called.
I did that. Fortunately, my child is a UIC student. She's going to be a senior. Okay, that's my youngest. But hey, all black children are my children. And when I came back from the suburbs, I realized that our children were being undereducated. From the curriculum out there to the curriculum here, doing a comparison, none at all. Now, seriously, let the tip dollars go. And stop putting them downtown. You know what I'm saying? Talking about there's blighted neighborhoods. You know, taking the blighted neighborhoods money and you taking our tax dollars. You know, stop, let them go. Enough is enough. You economically, you know, lynching us forever, and you undereducating our children. If that's the boiling point, and then you want to send letters, constantly bullying us as a people, stop it.
That is the president. El Presidente, the first lady. Well, now you can't be the first lady if you're the El Presidente, right? Because you can't be the. That is Miss Tamika Hope, president of What's in It for the Black People. That's our last call. Let's take a quick break. We come back. I don't know if let's talk about congregate sex offender housing. Now, is this one of them NIMBY things?
What's NIMBY?
NIMBY means not in my backyard.
Oh, like affordable housing?
Right. They were there's an advocacy group for sex offender affordable housing.
Not in my backyard.
Oh, Ruthie, that is not very inclusive of you.
You mean related to the sex offenders?
Yes.
For that particular category of sex offenders, I can't go.
All right, let's talk about it when we come back. It's the Maze Jackson Show.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break. Maze Jackson.
What's up, Chicago? This is your man, Maze Jackson, host of the Maze Jackson Show. You hear me every single day ask the question, what's in it for the black people? Well, finally, y'all, we've got an answer, and it's called the Black People First Party. Meet us every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at TP, located at 5401 South Wentworth, Unit 17E. That's in the mall at the 55th and the Dan Ryan. And you join us every Saturday where we are taking our politics black. We'll teach you everything you need to know about the game, from how to collect a petition, to how to knock on a door, to even how to become the next mayor of the city of Chicago. That's right, y'all. It is the Black People First Party. Meet us every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at TP, located at 5401 South Wentworth in the mall at 55th and the Dan Ryan. And if you don't like it, you can still tell them, Maze said. This is a black people thing you wouldn't even understand.
Maze Jackson.
Hey, Chicagoland, all roads lead to Solo Beauty Supply, the largest black-owned beauty supply in Chicago. We carry a large selection of natural hair care products, plus much more. So come see us at one of our two locations, located at 9011 South Ashland or 8158 South Cottage Grove. Our inventory is growing, and with your support, Solo Beauty will continue to be a source of pride in our community.
I love being black. Do you love being black? Yeah, I love being black. Hey. I do this for my people all across the globe. Hey, it's break. The skin I'm in fit me fine, tailor-made, yeah, I'm comfortable. And so it seems I'm still chasing my dreams. They told me, watch my steps, they want to pull the rug from under you. This is transparency, my life 3D. You live every word that I utter, reporting live from the gutter. Where the mind's hard to change, but we don't give up on our brothers and sisters. Cause we all need one another. The time's getting closer, revolution, feel it coming. I can smell it in the air. Inhale it, let it embody you. Because chances are the gospel you owe it, they body you. Plus we don't trust each other, so there's just another obstacle. Why jump hurdles to make a change? It ain't optional. Olympian mindset in this booth with my binoculars. I see my vision getting clear. Justice what a prophet do. My music touch the people's soul. Black power gospel tunes. So many styles, watch me kick them like they soccer moves. Falling rank and file, this is my platoon. Soldiers at attention, ain't no Willie lynching. This the program. Who they think they kidding? Reinvent the system. Total reconstruction of our mental stigma. This ain't a game, boy. Still they think I'm talking about Nintendo's. That's a shame, boy. Augment reality. Better fix your brain, boy. I love my people, hope they love me black. I'm going hard and ain't no holding back. Watch me react, I put my fist up in the skies like a beacon for believers that one day we return to our greatest city. We seek it all the glory we can obtain and keep reaching. I'm painting this picture, I hope you see it. Just what the theme is. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud, man. I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey. Well, how about you to sing these tunes too? Customize for you a little something you can groove to. Feeling good about yourself. Melanated mood muse. Always service humble pie. We don't care about who's who. Light brown or dark skin. This right here's for you too. We are the gods of the earth. Living proof truth. Say it loud if you black and proud. I salute you and that's a fact. Where you at? Let me hear you say it back. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud. Man, I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey. Super melanation, renovation of our databases. Gotta fix the trend. Insanity to make it past the matrix. There's a rabbit in the hole. No decision, you gon' chase it or just shut up for complacency. Here's your motivation. Black power in your veins. Up to us to build a nation. European mental detox completely we erase it. Cause you can't keep fighting over old information. Probably bring it right back if you love being black. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud and I love being black. One more time. I love being black.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, Ruthie Moore. My man, DJ Riis, the rule on the ones and twos. And Riis, I want to talk to you and Ruthie about congregate sex offender housing. The story really jumped out to me because last week, one of our BP1 people came to me and she said, Maze, I want to talk to my alderman because a sex offender house just moved on my block. And she was like, I want to talk to somebody. I want to understand what's going on because I'm just not with it. And because I knew the alderman, I said I would reach out to said alderman for this member. But it jumped back out to me because I remember when I was the chief of staff in the 18th Ward, this was an issue as well. And then I don't know if you saw the story in the newspaper today in Joliet. Apparently a place called New Day. What is it? A company called New Day Apartments has been found to be, or was the apartment building that housed approximately 6 sex offenders with violations against children under the age of 13. The meeting got hostile. Apparently, people suggested that they would burn the house down, that they would take violent action against the sex offenders because it was moved on a residential block where there were children. And now the families say that they don't feel safe to let their children go out and play. At the same time, there were complaints by the mayor as well as local elected officials who sided with the residents who said they did not want the sex offender housing in their community. And they did not speak up as neighbors threatened the house with arson, violence, etc. The elected officials stood by as that happened. And so I wanted to talk about this because I want to know, how do you deal with this? Congregate sex offenders. And Ruthie, I want to make sure, because you've been in this space. So I was going to write on my paper that there's different categories because I would feel probably different. But there are different categories of sex offenders. Am I correct? Oh, that's a yes. Can you broadly give, or can I suggest that I would say within the realm of sex offense, there's a range of them. But if you have been convicted of violent acts against children, I don't know that I care about your situation. I don't know if that's wrong or right, but I don't really care about your situation as it relates to being in proximity to any children, period. And however inconvenient that is for you, that doesn't seem to be an issue for me. Am I wrong for that? Like, I feel like there's going to be somebody, because and then where are these houses typically located? Do they have this problem in Winnetka? Do they have this problem in like when they build these large or multi-unit, or they take, because the abandoned properties and the places where you can get these places are often probably in areas where the land value is inexpensive. But it also, you can get up to $226 in care and wraparound services. So it becomes a business as well for the people that have chosen to house sex offenders. How do you respond? Is that and is this really? And then I'm not talking about like one-offs. I'm talking about like you got a bunch of people, and I feel like that sometimes explains to me why you see certain people walking around our neighborhoods, and because our children. Think about the fact that we just saw Antoine Dice Dobine and the girl chained up in the house, right? And to me, I feel like it's like dropping them into a community where there's all types of stuff happening. And so how much pain or care do we have when we, like, how do you think they should respond to that? What should the neighbors do? Should the neighbors, and I'm not suggesting any violence, but should you drive those out of your neighborhood? Can you? Give us a call, 872-259-747. That caller was like, I don't want no parts of that. What do you do about congregate sex offender housing when it comes to your neighborhood? And does it come to all neighborhoods? Can we effectively block it? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Ruthie, talk to me. You
I told you my position.
So I feel like I don't know that we see affordable housing as an issue oftentimes. But should congregate sex offender housing, how can you protect your neighborhood? Should you want to protect your neighborhood from that? Like, who I feel like I want to talk, like, what do you do if they've paid their debt to society? And can you ever pay that debt back? Should we have compassion? Or is there an effective way to deal with it? Should your local elected officials allow it? And if they do, or what tools do you have in the toolbox to stop it? And is that right or wrong? Give us a call. 872-259-7474. Riis, congregate sex offender housing in your neighborhood. What do you do? Would you protest? Would you speak to the gentleman? Like, what do you do with your kids in the neighborhood if this house is there? Because it's already there. It's already there. And there is the concept of saying that we are discriminating. Now, you could live in a neighborhood already, but I don't know about the congregate. Like they don't collaborate, do they? I feel like this is not a good thing. And I feel like we should is there a solution? Riis, what you do? If you found out that there was a congregate sex offender house in your neighborhood, do you warn your kids? Do you warn them? Like, as a dad, do you step outside on the porch and be like, because it's already there?
That's good.
Do you call the guys?
I definitely would tell my children, and I'd probably be like very aware that they probably wouldn't walk outside by themselves, though, But I probably definitely be going to all them little council meetings trying to get that closed down. Probably.
Are the parents wrong for threatening, and are the elected officials wrong for not standing up for the residents of the sex offender house. Like, is there a protection that they should be offering?
Who?
The local the local government. Right? So like the mayor and the city council came, and when the people was like, man, we'll burn this mug down, they kind of sat back. They didn't say anything. And the advocates were saying how they found it disturbing that the elected officials in the room didn't speak up. But like, what does the elected official in the room speak up and say?
Nothing that they can probably say. So it's just best to be quiet.
Yeah, but if you are quiet these days,
quiet works.
Do you think? The advocates are saying you don't speak up. And if you don't say anything and you don't speak up against it, then you are for it. And I just wonder, whose community do these places, they tend to wind up like congregate settings? Because I almost feel like the congregate setting is when you don't have a place to go. Right? Or am I wrong? What's the matter?
Nothing. It's a racket. I just Googled it, right? And the article came up from 2021, April 13, CBS Chicago, and the title is, "Many more sex offenders are living in one Inglewood building than first known, raising legal red flags, but ex-offenders say they have few options." So you're going to put it in a community where the people ain't paying attention. So then all you know is you just, by the time they pop up, you looking on the register and saying, dang, why 50 people living in this one building? So when you got communities that's paying attention and they speaking up about it, that's how you prevent stuff like this from coming into your community. Because once it's there, they done already cut the deals. And low key, looking at, I don't want to go too deep into it, but look at who the landlords are for these buildings.
Cool.
Who you think own properties in our communities? Particularly this Inglewood story I'm reading about.
So that's kind of the thing I was talking about earlier when I said 200. Each one of these people, each one of them it's a housing category that's a niche that you get a high price for being able to manage this. Now, and I think what Ruthie hit on is actually kind of how it happens, right? You acquire a building, and then when you acquire the building with the intent, because you fix up that building and then you have a population, because there isn't really a fully engaged community, right? If you're dealing with shootings and you're dealing with whatever else, nobody thinks, why should that community even care about having all of this other stuff dumped into our neighborhoods? And then half the time it don't be even just black folks getting dumped into our neighborhoods, thus making black children pray for these buildings. $226,000 a year it costs post. And Toy Davis says, on the flip side, where does this community live? And I guess my thing is, I don't know that that's really something, with all the things we got to worry about for our children.
See, let me tell you what my solution would be.
Uh-oh.
And I know that people, I'm just more so passionate about this because I strongly believe that crimes against children, lock them up. But I think with this one, it kind of reminds me of how, they need institutional housing. That's government-funded institutional housing.
Where? In the desert.
Government-funded institutional housing. The same way that they, how we used to have institutions that used to be government-run. Build up some more of those and put them in there with the services that they need. But I absolutely understand them trying to integrate them back into the community. I get it. But per Illinois law, it says that if you a sex offender, you can't live with other sex offenders unless it's in this transitional type of housing.
But they then said that Illinois law is unconstitutional at the Supreme Court. So then what wound up happening is, you good. Now we could go ahead and go back to business as usual. Sex offender housing deposited in black neighborhoods, on top of all of the other ills that we already have,
People deserve second chance and redemption, but I ain't trying to have you redeem yourself in my neighborhood.
Right. Like, that to me is different. I just feel like that fits in a whole different space. And because I don't know that you can be cured from it, I don't know that I want to test. I don't want our children to be the experiments of whether you've been cured. Right? Like, I guess that's it's kind of like the Catholic churches transferring, oh Lord. It's like churches transferring people into known sex offenders into places where the children are less inclined to report or tell. Do you remember that show with Loretta, what's old girl? The black lady that's playing Michelle Obama? And she, her son was getting abused by the priest, but she said it was better for him to be abused by the priest there than what his father would do to him if he found out that he was gay. I don't know if you saw it. She wanted them. It was like a big old, like Meryl Streep was like the nurse, the nun, and she was trying to uncover all this pedophilia in the church, and then the mom was just kind of like, let me give. I just feel like you can drop off all of the worst stuff in our neighborhoods. And it's like, if you're climbing out of one hole, then you got another situation you got to deal with. And another situation that you got to deal with. That's crazy to me that in a community like Inglewood, where we know that they got some challenges, that you're going to compound the challenge. Why you don't put the people in a nice, good, safe neighborhood? Not a good, safe neighborhood. Why you don't take them and put them in Winnetka, Wilmette, where they can be better integrated so that they can see how good families live and they don't, right? Like, give them the example you want them to be. But don't drop them off and be like, oh, you get 3 or 4 until we catch you. Like Daniel McCormick. They knew. And then they put him on the west side in St. Agatha, where he went to town. And now he back out. They trying to drop him off in a black neighborhood. Because guess who is the most, you know who will be, we forgive you. It's the Black Maze Jackson Show. The Black Maze Jackson Show. All right, y'all. Ruthie said it's a racket. How much did they say in the paper? How much?
I'm not necessarily saying it's a racket, but y'all know for the most part, some people that own property in our communities have no intention of living in it themselves. It's money-making opportunities, whether they're gonna rent it back out to you or try to get some transitional housing in there to get some of this government, maybe possible nonprofit money that's coming in.
Maze Jackson Show. Look, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk something else. We're going to talk about, is it World War III coming? Plus, I'm going to give you a political update because, y'all ain't all been with us in the afternoon, so I got to tell y'all what's going on. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
Hey, Chicagoland, all roads lead to Solo Beauty Supply, the largest black-owned beauty supply in Chicago. We carry a large selection of natural hair care products, plus much more. So come see us at one of our two locations, located at 9011 South Ashland or 8158 South Cottage Grove. Our inventory is growing, and with your support, Solo Beauty will continue to be a source of pride in our community.
Today, the Biden administration is releasing what it calls a new strategy to fight domestic terrorism. Following a 100-day review, federal officials are now laying out a new plan hoping to deter, detect, and prosecute domestic terror.
They went to the Capitol waving their flags and looking for smoke. He was out there looking for justice. They was over there looking for votes. Ashley Babbitt was with him and told all the people that nothing could stop us. She climbed through the Capitol window, breached security, and called a shot, bro. The media say she a veteran. They paint the picture to make her look greater, but she disrespected the same country that she served. That makes her a traitor. They was fighting police, resisting arrest. On God, I couldn't believe it. I guess blue lives only tend to really matter when it's convenient. Hey, these are the times we witness in history, all because they didn't get a victory. victory. United States is so contradictory. We get equal rights, that's a mystery. Politicians, they more like magicians. You know they got tricks up their sleeve. We point out the flaws that's up in this country. You know they gon' tell us to leave. Somebody try to help me understand it. Always seems like a double standard. They be out here leaving us empty-handed. To certain rights, we are not granted. The media is the culprit when it comes to the comparison. Cause when it comes to race, they always changing up the narrative. Terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. We still out here trying to get our reparations, but the government pump faking out here hesitating. I'm out here trying to keep my peace, so I keep meditating. The media make us look bad, they taint our reputation. Look, it's so sad that COVID causing toe tags. You claim you so patriotic, but you ain't wearing no mask. You out here wildin' with your MAGA flags and showing your ass. You wanna be part of some type of revolution so bad. Look, you talk revolution and constitutional rights only. I guess we forgot about back in the days when all of the business was whites only. Yeah, George Floyd got justice. Juneteenth got much respect. They made it a national holiday. Man, it's all good, but cut the check. They giving out all of these vaccines, putting it in you like caffeine. Was it all in the part of the plan? I bet money like DraftKings. It's land of the free, home of the brave. 1776, we wasn't free till 1865, so we wasn't part of that shit. And that there's terrorism. 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 Terrorism.
WIFTBPM.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Todd Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Antoinette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happening in town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. Sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. So many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this is a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
up, Chicago? Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl. Don't you yawning? You okay? Wake up.
Man, it's early.
Huh? It's not
early.
You got work today. So you got your church clothes on.
And I got my lint roller. That's how you know it's real.
Uh-oh.
If you bring your lint roller with you.
You got the chopper, though? You're supposed to say, cut. Did you rent one? You didn't? Rent, cut.
Hold on. Can you redo that again?
Cut.
I'm like, who are you?
No, they'd be like, take 16. I realize why they do that.
There?
You know why they put the chopper? So that when they realize they can write down which take was the good one.
Like in front of the camera?
Yep. Chop. And then it'd be like, there's the chopper. I always ask. I got to do the chopper for the CNN. All right, y'all. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ruthie Moore. Congregate sex offenders in your neighborhood. Who are the people in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood. In your neighborhood. Oh, who are the people in your neighborhood? Y'all know. Y'all remember that? Dang, y'all ain't watched Sesame Street for real?
Oh, that was Sesame Street?
Who are the people in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood. Ernie used to sing it.
Oh, Bert and Ernie. Okay.
Yeah. Who, by the way.
Don't do it.
Okay.
I just know it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, Mr. Rogers.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine?
Mr. Rogers.
Could you be mine? Man, Mr. Rogers had them tennis shoes. Remember he was like to change it to his tennis shoes?
It was fresh. There is room for a
like
Mr. Rogers remake.
We need Mr. Robinson. I like Mr. Robinson better.
Who was that?
Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Hey, boys and girls, we is in somebody's house. I is Mr. Rogers. We gonna go, Mr. Robinson. We is gonna go in the closet. Hey, boys and girls, today, you know what this is? This is an earring. Oh, it's got a little piece of ear on it because I snatched it. But this is Mr. Robinson. Hey, boys and girls, this is Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Today, y'all ain't never seen Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood?
Nope.
That's what made me watch Saturday Night Live. Like Eddie Murphy, like when he would be like Mr. Robinson and he would climb in the window. Like he came up the fire escape, climbed in the window. Yeah, that's Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Y'all remember that? You remember Eddie Murphy when he was on he be like, you don't remember when he did Hot Tub? Gonna get in the hot tub. And he dressed like James Brown and he's like, it's hot in the hot tub.
Mace. I'm of the age where Eddie Murphy is Dr. Doolittle. I know. He's Shrek to me. He's Dr. Doolittle.
Dr. Doolittle,
you know, to animals like that's.
Come on, man. Eddie Murphy, you don't remember like Eddie Murphy Raw when he was like, "Hey, you talking to me?"
I was not supposed to be listening to that. No, I'm telling you,
like
Eddie was
Dr. Elvis. You gotta win this race. We gotta win this race. You remember Eddie Murphy Raw?
I've seen it in my adulthood.
Now that's probably he had to apologize for that.
He had to retroactively apologize for it? Oh, wow.
He says he still feels terrible doing all of it and he apologized.
Okay, cool.
I can't believe do you remember when he was Buckwheat? When he did
Little Rat from Little Rascals?
Ebony and I, but we put together
Dr. Doolittle 2.
You remember Trading Places? How about a White Russian?
Nutty Professor, the Clumps.
Oh, Jesus.
I ain't know old Eddie. I knew new Eddie.
Old Eddie was the bomb. New Eddie was like,
I knew put on dress Eddies.
Oh. I knew Eddie when he was probably phobic. Multiple ists.
Didn't he get caught up in some stuff?
But
yeah.
Phobic, Hollywood. Yeah. But he still got phobic.
Yeah.
But they would say it was phobic. I'm just telling you. Eddie, you don't remember? Eddie, I want to talk to you. Why you treat me like animal, Eddie? When he said you can't be messing with these newfangled American women. And he said you gotta go to Africa and find your woman. And you gotta go he said you're gonna see him walking around with a woman with a bone in her nose. And she gonna be like, Eddie, I want to talk to you. And then it's gonna be she gonna get around a bunch of American women, and they gonna change him up. Be like, Eddie, why you talk to me? Why you treat me like animal? Eddie.
I thought he was supposed to say, excuse me, Miss Foo. But when I met you, you was dead broken.
That's where that came from.
I know. I already know.
Goonie goo goo, Eddie. And you remember the daddy with the five?
Yeah, Goonie goo goo.
Goonie. You don't remember the auntie falling down the steps?
Your wife's a Bigfoot. She's a Bigfoot. You never seen that, Ruthie? That's one of Eddie. That's a classic, man. Come on, man.
Helen, do it. Eddie, when he do his daddy, Ruthie, you're not entertained by Eddie Murphy. No, Eddie, you got to go back.
Man, you got to go see some Raw.
I appreciate his comedy.
You want some politically correct comedy? She probably want to watch. She probably want to watch Carmichael.
Ooh,
Jared Carmichael.
No.
Although, have you watched his TV show?
Man, I don't be watching TV like that.
Ruthie, I'm just telling you.
The Carmichaels.
That show was epic. Mm-hmm. That show. That's where we first met Tiffany Haddish. And that's where old girl, the mixed girl who on the... Oh, let me stop. Okay. Anyway, Maze Jackson show. Let's go to what y'all want to do. Political update. Y'all want to do Washington, D.C. First of all, Ruthie, could you Google what happened in Philly? Shout out to my man Ness, who is apparently marked safe. But there was a shooting, another mass shooting in Philadelphia on South Street. Now, this weekend was the same weekend of the Roots Festival. So I hope that that was not connected to that. I did not get a chance to check out the story, but I did see that there was a Philadelphia mass shooting, and they said it was a large group gathered on South Street, which makes me think, South Street makes me think of Beanie Siegel. You don't even know who Beanie Siegel is, do you?
Yes, I do. He was with Rockefeller.
Right. Okay.
Didn't Jay-Z do him bogus? Never promoted him?
No, Jay-Z paid for him to get out of jail.
Didn't he never promote him?
Oh yeah, he did. He was Beanie Siegel mad. Beanie steady.
Let me tell you something. Kanye West gave Beanie Siegel $5 or $10 million for giving him the name Yeezus.
Then he said that he didn't take it though.
What? I ain't hear that part.
I did. He said he wasn't taking it because
I ain't hear that part.
Yeah, he said he wasn't taking it.
Yeah, not yet.
Right. He ain't broke enough yet.
Who ain't taking no what?
He said, you know how black pride be like, I don't want your money, I'm pulling the mud.
Nah,
Reed's like, I don't got that black pride. Yeah, but he said he wasn't taking it. Well, now that's what at least that's what but I can't tell because I don't know which one of y'all newfangled websites tell the truth. I don't know who listen to Shade Room, tellthetruth.com, your mama and them. I don't know who it is, World Star. I don't know who to listen to. All right, y'all, what's up with the mass shootings, though? So we had Buffalo, and I feel like Buffalo, to me, okay, I don't want to put it in most, but the Buffalo shooting concerns me because I feel like that was a model and a test run. The Texas shooting, to me, felt like a troubled teen shooting. Like, I don't know that was a racially motivated. The Oklahoma shooting was black on black. Let me not say black on black, but it was a black man who said he was having problems and he blamed his doctor, who was another black man, and he shot people on the way in the hospital. The Philadelphia one, they said approximately 3 people, I believe, were seen shooting into a crowd. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mass shootings, though, like, how do we stay vigilant?
What?
Like,
Keep your head on the swivel.
You gotta have your head on the swivel, but you gotta have a head on the swivel and your hand on the pistol. Cause, like, they not looking for people who gonna shoot back. They want victims, right? So I almost feel like if you look vigilant, you probably gonna be straight, cause they looking for soft targets. What do we need to be doing to prepare ourselves or to like we got a lot coming up this month. Shout out to Mike Pookie Brown and Naperville Soul Fest. Reese, did you go out there? Dang, Reese, I feel bad because it was off the chain. Did you see the pictures? Reese, there was so many people. They had 8,000 people. 8,000.
Whoa.
Mike Pookie Brown did his thing. Shout out. Reese, I ain't gonna say nothing that he ain't asked us to host the stage. I seen everybody out there. I was like, black people from the city was in Naperville. I was like, what y'all doing in Naperville? Now, y'all would have made fun of us 10 years, 20 years ago. Naperville Soul Fest. Now, Pookie got them, and he called it multi-ethnic, but it was all Negroes. Well, you know, and white folks. But it's now, he snapped off, man. But we got so many events and festivals coming up. Does it change the way we should be looking at security? Do you think in Chicago something like that could happen? Well, obviously it could happen, but I'm saying from an outsider, not an insider. Because I would say that all of our festivals like Summertime Shy have been relatively incident-free for at least the last, I can't think of an incident at Summertime Shy. Like, really not even, like, fights. And so if in the one time of the year that we ain't at each other, not the one time, let me not even make it that way, but when we're not at each other, do we need to be vigilant? And how are we being vigilant? And is it just the responsibility of the event team? Or is it now a new black responsibility that we need to be vigilant? Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Like, are you going to the festivals? I was listening to somebody saying that they was thinking twice about not going. And I was like, oh, no, I'm going to see Ashanti and Busta. I want to see Jhené Aiko too, but it ain't like I'm like, I gotta go see Jhené Aiko. Mm-hmm. I gotta go see Baby. That's Ashanti.
Okay.
I ain't like how you look because you was looking like
I couldn't catch the beat. I think you just got to really stay vigilant everywhere you go, and the people that you go with, like, y'all got to have a plan. Like, literally, you shouldn't go anywhere, inside or outside, without figuring out how you getting from where you at. One thing that I'm really super concerned about is large crowds, and something pop off. Like, am I about to be at the bottom of this pile of people that's trying to get out? So sometimes I don't like having to think this way, but I'm always thinking about, okay, if it go down, what's the best plan? Like, cause everybody probably gonna go to that exit. So maybe I tell me and my people, y'all, if it go down, we going that way. But these are the things that you literally might have to take a second to talk about when you go out nowadays. You at a restaurant. All right. You looking at the exits? Is your back to the door? Like, do you see the emergency exit? Do you see the one everybody else gonna go to? You might want to go the opposite. If you do got your GUN on you, like, do the people around you, like, are they privy to knowing that you got your GUN on you? So these are all things you got to really think about. Like, because if it go down, it's going to go down. And most of the time when it go down, like, we ain't planning. We sitting there with our cup in our hand. Next thing you know.
Should we put the eyeballs on people that are not?
Everybody get eyeballs, Maze. That's why I say, like, living in a hellhole.
Hey!
Like, is the feeling of not being able to move. I gotta be mindful of my own people that look like me trying to get me. I gotta be mindful of the white people that don't look like me trying to get me. That's a hellhole. It ain't safe nowhere. You gotta be careful getting groceries out of your car. You gotta be careful putting groceries into your car. You got to be careful that a deranged person who might be having back pain might come up, and anybody that get in his way, he gonna take you out. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Why I gotta die? So you literally are not safe anywhere.
Is that a way to like?
No, that is no way. That's why I said it's a hellhole.
But is that just in Chicago?
No, this is life. And people who
Go ahead, come on, say it. People do what?
It's life. It's the life we live in nowadays. Like you literally shouldn't. And it literally, like, to me, the most messed up part about it is the psychological implications. Like, I don't want to go places and not feel safe. Like, that is just not a good feeling. And I'm sick and tired of having to live like this.
Man, I just want the kids to be able to go out and play.
Don't we?
So I was just thinking, how do we act? Tennille said the best thing we could do going into these festivals is be patient at the check-in as they patting you down. I guess my thing is, what else do we need to do? Right? Like, do we look at because I always feel like if it was me, I'd be there the day before. I'll dig my stuff and put it in a hole and then come back. But like, are we warm and fuzzy to everybody, or are we kind of like, we got your eye on you? Like, I just think, like, if we walked up into a crowd that was all... See, I feel like we're very just embracing and loving without anybody even feeling like they looking at me. So that the word can get back. Like, black people on point right now. They paying attention to everybody. Like, you cool, but who you know around here? How do we become vigilant in this time that we exist in?
Everybody is a suspect.
Damn.
And I'm telling you, there's no way to live. But you kind of got to. I got to be worried about these two people over here squaring up and who about to start busting gats. And I got to be suspicious of this white boy with this backpack too.
That sucks. All right, y'all. The Maze Jackson Show. And with that, I wanted to ask y'all about... How close do you think we are to World War III? Did you see Russia bomb Kiev? And it's kind of crazy to me that they bombed Kiev, because last week I was watching Good Morning America, and I thought it was odd. First of all, remember I told you how the Ukrainians was looking at Robin Roberts like, what you doing here? Like, you just because it's a war around here, we still ain't with y'all. But that's a whole nother story. The United States just agreed to give Ukraine another $700 million. So I gotta say that Ukraine has now officially probably gotten a big chunk of our reparations. Okay? Let me just start there.
Can we say what that money was for? It was for them to upgrade their weapons and weapon systems.
Right.
Specifically. And now Russia is saying that if you give them anything that's more strategic or that can reach out to us, we gonna have to step up our game and show you what we capable of. Because I think the United States is fighting a proxy war. Like, I think we feel like we're fighting Russia to keep them from coming over here. You think so?
Yeah, well, I do think this is a proxy war.
I think we really fighting Russia to keep control over some of that territory over there.
Okay.
Without an American presence, like, America probably feel like we can't let Putin. We gotta stay in Putin back door. Gotta stay in the backyard.
See, I feel like Putin was like, that over there was mine. I think when we talked to Kim, who was it that talked to us about that? No, that was Boykin, who told us that wasn't and what's his name, Jonathan Jackson too, who told us we was looking at that conflict in a 50-year history as compared to like a 2,000-year history. Right?
I agree with that. And when you think about like what it means to join NATO, like, does a country like Ukraine need to join NATO to get the protections of America and da-da-da-da-da-da-da? And when you look at the opposite side of that, I can see how it's insulting to Russia. I can see that. But I'm America first, national security first. So go NATO, go. But I can understand how China and Russia like, hold on now. Y'all ain't finna be coming over here putting y'all weapons in our territories. And they willing to fight to the death. Which most ain't land, like, ain't that the most valuable thing when you
can't
really
make
think
no
about it? Because once you get the land, then you can get your people to come settle the land. And then you can start moving out certain populations to get your population more popping. Ain't that how you take over?
That, or you, like they did in Brazil and Venezuela, you just go get all the women and just change the color of everybody. Like you just rape, rob, and pillage the town. And then everybody becomes blended, and then they eventually forget and then be like, we ain't them. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. We'll be back after these messages.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break. Maze Jackson.
What's up, Chicago? This is your man, Maze Jackson, host of the Maze Jackson Show. You hear me every single day ask the question, what's in it for the black people? Well, finally, y'all, we've got an answer, and it's called the Black People First Party. Meet us every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at TP, located at 5401 South Wentworth, Unit 17E. That's in the mall at the 55th and the Dan Ryan. And you join us every Saturday where we are taking our politics black. We'll teach you everything you need to know about the game, from how to collect a petition, to how to knock on a door, to even how to become the next mayor of the city of Chicago. That's right, y'all. It is the Black People First Party. Meet us every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at TP, located at 5401 South Wentworth in the mall at 55th and the Dan Ryan. And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said. This is a black people thing you wouldn't even understand.
Maze Jackson. And now, traffic and weather.
Why money ain't free.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 8:32 a.m. I'm Riis the Ruler with your Chicagoland area traffic and weather report as we head over to the Kennedy. O'Hare to the Loop will be 47 minutes. Outbound to O'Hare will be 35 on the Edens. Deerfield to the Circle, 53 minutes. Circle back out to Deerfield will be 38. The Eisenhower is 48 minutes in both directions, while the Stevenson is 53 from I-355 to the Dan Ryan. Outbound will be an hour. The Bishop Ford, I-80 to the Dan Ryan, 35 minutes. 27 minutes to I-80, while the Dan Ryan is 19 minutes to the Loop. 12 minutes still to 95th. On DuSable Drive South, 55th to Jackson, 14 minutes. Jackson to 55th will be 8 minutes. On the north side, Randolph to Bryn Mawr, 8 minutes. Bryn Mawr to Randolph, 12 minutes. Today's weather is currently 68 with light showers. Today will be a high of 79 with the low of 59. I'm Riis the Ruler. Happy Monday, the Maze Jackson Show.
Can't you just give it? I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money ain't free?
In that 9 to 5, got your girl hella tired. Why won't they let me be? Now I understand why my mama always used to ask, did I think money grew on trees? I got these bills after bills and they just keep coming. Working overtime, but my pockets ain't flooding. Yeah, my funds low. A dog life is gas.
Why money ain't free?
Why it ain't free?
Why can't you just give it?
Why can't they just give it to me?
I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me.
Why money ain't free? Yeah.
Why can't you just give it to me? I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money ain't free?
How the money ain't free. Every 5 minutes kids bothering me. They seem to think that money grows on trees. Always asking for allowance and clean one thing. I'm sick and tired of my funds being low. Spent the whole bag on the groceries at the store. Got a little something, but I need a little more. And I'm a single mama, you should already know.
Why money ain't free?
Why the money ain't free?
Why can't you just give it to me? I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money ain't free? Why can't you just give it?
Won't you give it to me?
I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money ain't free?
Why the money ain't free?
Why money ain't free?
Why money ain't free?
Yeah, Ruthie Mo, Riis the ruler, Maze Jackson. This is the reparations interlude. We not asking, we demanding. So go on, make my payments high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high. Not no SBA loans, just run the bread, make it high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high. Look, hey, check it out. First drug lord was President Nixon. Oval Office was the trap house where he was tipping. Got the drugs from Nicaragua and gave us crack. Declared war on blacks. Man, tell him to cut the check and tried to make it seem like a revolution. CIA was the corner boys for distribution. We could tear this country in half for retribution. But I'd rather get some restitution, so tell him to cut the check. John Singleton, man, he already told y'all. He broke it down for you when he made Snowfall. They locked us all up and created whole laws. So send a message like a cold call. Tell them to cut the check. Look, we built this city. We built this city back. Put this country together and gave them hella aid. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Over 400 years. Been punching the clock, but yeah, we still ain't got paid. Look, they paying the immigrants. They paid the Jews. Executive orders, man, they made the rules. I want my 40 acres, you can save the mule. Cause as of right now, we getting played for the fool. Look, for sterilization, Tuskegee experiment, Rosewood, Japanese internment. Come on, was all paid out from the government. We waiting on our turn, we definitely earned it. So make my payment high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. Shout out to my man Nasty Ness in the building, Loch Ness Monster. Shout out to Ruthie Moore. Shout out to DJ Riis the ruler. Y'all, I'm happy to be back in the mornings. I miss y'all. Don't think we've been able to talk to some of you all about some of the things that have been happening. So I just want to catch us up. I had a bunch of things, but one of the things that jumped out to me today was the Democrats agreed to coordinate to a coordinated campaign. Ruthie, you know what a coordinated campaign is?
Working together to do something?
Yeah. So it's been, for years, there's always been the idea that we would have a coordinated campaign. Unfortunately, because of so many egos, a lot of times a coordinated campaign really gets drowned out. The last big coordinated campaign that I remember was the attempt during Pat Quinn's election to run a coordinated campaign for the Democrats, but the speaker was more concerned about Lisa Madigan than anybody else in that race, and so it kind of blew up. But apparently, all of the big, powerful leaders have decided to get together. So I'm wondering, so when I say that, it means that Robin Kelly, who beat J.B. Pritzker's candidate last year for Democratic Party chair, is now agreeing to team up with the Democratic Party of Illinois after the primary to work together, because I do believe that they want to present a united front against the Republican potential onslaught. Now, that does not preclude them from trying to get the lineup that they want. So apparently June 29th, after the election, then all of the Democrats will come together that were fighting and create one unified front to go against the Republicans. So I wonder, first of all, so I want to talk about kind of all the elections from top down. So let's start with the governor's race. I think it's pretty much a given that J.B. Pritzker will be the Democratic nominee. And so now he is spending a tremendous amount of time trying to pick his own opponent. And that is one of the things that you'd like to do in politics. Pick your own opponent, right? Pick the least formidable. And whether you believe it or not, Richard Irvin seems to be the most formidable, not in the Republican primary, which is why Republicans are spending so much money to do them. And it's kind of crazy to watch Richard Irvin do everything to prove to white folks that he looks like us but thinks like them, and they still be like, nah, OJ. They still OJing him. Like, The commercials, like one of the other richest men in the Republican Party is giving a lot of money just to dog whistle Richard Irvin. And it's like what's happening to Richard Irvin is the whole reason why when people be like, yo, we should flip Republican or do something different. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. It's like they still be like, I understand you over here, but you ain't one of us. Now, he has won as a Republican mayor and has always run as a Republican. But they saying you ain't real. Well, what makes him not real? Right? And it really is. And like when you look at that commercial of the girlfriend, it's like I hear the outright racism, but like the craziest part is the racism is being paid for. Some of it by the people that's asking us to I want to know what y'all think about the governor's race. Do you think that Richard Irvin will make it out? And if he makes it out, do you think he can give JB the business? I think JB does not want to run against Richard Irvin because I don't know what motivates. What does JB have to motivate black people to turn out to vote for him in a contested in November? How much stuff could he give away in 3 months that would, or in 6 months that would make everybody be like, we gonna forget? Well, let me not even say, because I read an article that says he's been doing a really good job. I just don't know how it's worked out for black people specifically. But I would say that that's the case with everything at this point. Mm-hmm. So he's no different. That's like it is the status quo. All right. Let's move on to the next. Well, that's not the next biggest race, but I'm going to move on to the next biggest race right now that we're going to talk about is Ruthie, the race for the 1st Congressional District. That is the race to replace Bobby Rush. It is the historic black seat that was once occupied by Oscar the Priest. You'll find that out if you go back on YouTube and watch Poli-Sci 101. Then it was occupied by Big Bill Dawson, one of the most powerful black Democrats in the history of the place. Ralph Metcalf, Olympian. Then it was held by our beloved Harold Washington. Occupied for the last 24 years by Congressman Bobby Rush. There have been a couple profiles, but it seems like the race is thinning out, right? Like there's 17 candidates in the race. I'm starting to see line signs, window signs, etc. But the big endorsements are being split by probably 3 people, and I would say there's probably a sleeper out there just because of the money he's raised. So in this race, I think it's going to turn into a fight between Jonathan Jackson, Pat Dow, and Jackie Collins. I think Jonathan Swain is going to potentially, what he can pull, potentially changes the dynamic at the top of the race. So in my estimation, if I'm Pat Dow or Jackie Collins, you need Jonathan Swain to get more vote. Why? Because Pat Dow and Jackie Collins split the women's vote. Like if one of them wasn't there, I think the woman wins. So essentially, for Jonathan to win, he needs to stay here and he needs the fight to be between Pat Dow and Jackie Collins. So then it becomes how do you drag them down, which makes me say, will someone go negative or will somebody, and the other difference I think is TV. Like which candidate will have the ability over the last 3 weeks to get their message out? Ruthie, how much do you think commercials play between black and white people?
I don't think that they have as much weight as they used to have.
So what do you think? What do you think is the most determining factor for a decision to be made? Like when people pick, does the fact that a person is a woman factor into you when you make a decision, when you vote?
It really depends on the issue.
Okay.
For something like the first congressional district, being a woman is not like really necessarily a factor.
Okay.
In me making a decision. I'm more so looking at Bobby Rush had that seat for so long. So I'm listening and looking for innovative ideas that are like outside of the norm.
So I guess my thing is, how do you get those ideas if you don't go to a forum? Is it where do you get your information from?
You literally have to like seek it out. And not only do you have to seek it out, but you can't necessarily look for it on candidates' websites because they gonna put what they want you to know on there. So it just really depends on like what issues you are passionate about. I think people choose their candidates in different ways. And I think it's less reliant on TV ads. And low key, I think people more so choose their candidates based on who they don't like. I think I'm more so one of those people. I'm looking at who I don't want to vote for versus who I want to vote for. And that's how I do my process of elimination. So that's why I do think it's going to get a little ugly, get a little mudslingy toward the end, because you want to sully people's reputation.
Right. And I think we do hear about the women vote being split. Like, I think that when there is a major constituency, it is one of the strategies that people employ, right? To get, and you got to find, like, no one makes a decision to say, for instance, I don't know how to explain this, but I feel like there is a political calculation. And right now, if you are calculating, you are asking, you got to estimate based on women, on men, on turnout, on a variety of different factors. But I do think that if you've got 3 front runners, right, and 1 man in the lead and 2 women, if you combine the 2 women's votes, assuming that those 2, let's say 70% of the women would vote with one of the other 2 women, because I would say that mostly all of them agree on the issues. Like, there's not really any difference. It is, I've done it. The only difference right now is experience, essentially, or whether you like or trust the person.
It's experience. That is that's the thing that's separating people apart. That's why I said it's gonna get to mudslinging.
Right. And I think my question becomes, is the mudslinging between the 2 women because they see each other as a competition, even as they attack Jonathan Jackson? Or is it attack Jonathan Jackson and try and drag him and then fight it out between the 2 of us?
This is just me. Finna give y'all some game.
Uh-oh.
If I was them, right, this is what I would do.
Uh-oh.
If I was Pat Dow, I'd take out Jonathan Jackson because she got the experience. So if she can eliminate Jonathan Jackson, then she can be like, hey, I got the experience. And she can go with the experience card. I don't think we can discount Karen Norrington Reeds because I think people still do take them endorsements serious. And I don't think we can discount her in this. But I do think that Pat Dow can play the experience card. But I think it's one of those things where Jonathan Jackson seemed like he gonna take the high road. Like, I can't necessarily see him, slinging the mud or whatever. It's like he might try to take the high road. Like,
yeah, you can't, but he can't sling any mud at either of the women, right? Like, as a black man, you can't take no shots at the women any kind of way.
I can't really see him slinging the mud anyway.
I can see that too. I would say that
this seemed like a pretty, like, stand up race in terms of I
do feel like they have all been
I ain't seen no smear campaigns.
I must say that out of all these races, I would say that I agree. I think they've done a very good job of trying to keep it civil, because I hope that it's not a civil war. So, like, I think, dang, I'm gonna have to tell Jonathan Jackson too. I noticed he paid for an ad with me in it, right? Do I get an ad? Do I get a cut from that?
Dang.
Right? Do I get a cut from that?
Really, too, like, from a national standpoint, like, this is probably one of the most important races in the country in terms of this first congressional district. I mean, it's just a culmination of a lot of our issues wrapped up into that one race, all the way from term limits to decreasing black populations. Like, a lot of stuff is in this first congressional district. It started off with so many different candidates, but even with all those different candidates, like you said earlier, everybody seemed to be pretty aligned on like certain issues. And I have not had a candidate stick out to me with anything that has been like super innovative for me to jump on the bandwagon yet.
Okay.
And I have been looking, but nothing has been music to my ears thus far. I done seen them try to do the woman's issues. Like, I see the business issues. I seen some people with immigrant issues on their literature and stuff. So I don't know, Maze. I'm still undecided for the first congressional district. I think I do have like a top 5 that I can narrow it down to, but I really don't know what to vote for, if that makes sense.
So in that case, Ruthie, do what the black people, what's in it for the black people first voter guide tells you. When in doubt, if you're not sure, if you haven't had the time, check us out. Hey man, I've been hearing that they've been trying to find out how effective black people are. Black people first is. They checking on us in the universe. So I just think that as we look at these options, my friends, we need to speak in a voice that makes them understand that we gonna have some say in our future. It was funny. Shout out to Lori Kate Westerfield, who yesterday was at the debate and pointed out that there's a shift in the way black people think, shifting, and we've been getting shortchanged for a minute. All right, what you saying? What you got on that? Hold on. Let's move on. So, if you was betting woman today, who you got?
Whoever talking about reparations. Because I sure ain't seen that in none of y'all campaign literature.
Ooh.
And then y'all gonna make me throw my vote away voting for a lesser known candidate that's talking about reparations. Then I feel stupid because it's like, well, Ruthie, why would you vote for that person?
Why you throw your vote away?
Trying to vote for reparations? Because it is a couple candidates talking about reparations.
There is a couple.
Amina Matthews.
Shout out to Sister Amina Matthews. You know Amina too. She
Yeah.
Amina don't be playing around. All right, so
and low key, this is not an endorsement. I just be doing my research. But if we want a candidate that is hip to the whole violence prevention racket, Amina Matthews is the best candidate. Whoop. I dare somebody say any different.
Oh, the violence.
Because y'all already know.
Did you see about the violence
space locked up?
Did you see the violence interruption people on the website, on the internet? They donate to political campaigns now. Did you see that the violence, the Chicago violence prevention leadership has now decided that they're going to finance war against black candidates. How does that work? Like, so how do you, as an advocate to stop violence in our community, pay the streets to go against our people? How does that work? I think we got to start questioning some of the people that are in our communities purporting to be our allies when they're trying to direct our future.
That's a lot of people. I mean, if you really want to if you really want to like see what the candidates are about in the first congressional district, just look at what they was doing before they was running. Look at what they was doing before they was running. Have they been in certain positions for decades and we ain't seen no outcomes? Have they purported to be community leaders but ain't been leading nothing but themselves and their pockets to the bank?
It may not even be to the pockets though. Because I would say it's a lot of people. No, let's back up. It's a lot of people in the race, though, that's claiming to be community leaders.
Follow the money.
Some of the money. So I would follow some of the non-money. Because I would ask, well, my friend, what made you start here? I'm not against anybody, but I do have to ask, what's your record of service?
That's all you got to look at. Look at what type of career that they have before they entered this race. Are they a career politician? Look at the outcomes. Look at the corporate sponsors.
Dun, 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 dun.
But I mean, okay, so like with this thought, let me just ask black politics, Maze.
Yeah.
So if reparations is my like issue, right?
Vote for that person.
That's what I'm saying. But am I wasting my vote by voting for a candidate that I know is not in the rhetoric?
No.
Tell me how that works, Maze. Help me.
It is not a wasted vote. Your vote is your voice. It's not a wasted vote. Now, again, and as people count and they say at the end of the day, if that 2 votes was the difference, what was the difference? It was reparations. It won't come down to that, but have you ever heard of a single issue voter?
Yes.
So remember all the people that voted for Donald Trump, who was like evangelicals, and he was like, I grabbed them in the cooch and all type of stuff. You know why they voted for him? Because they have one issue that they will always vote for, and that's how abortion people are. Like, they're like, if you are not pro-life, I don't care what else it is, then I'm not voting for you. That's the only issue I'm voting on.
We are doing a grave disservice to ourselves in this 1st congressional district if we support reparations, if we ain't making these candidates that's asking us for our votes right now talk about reparations. And we have not, in my opinion. I ain't seen, I'm trying to tell you, I ain't seen reparations on none of this literature y'all sending out. It's only one candidate that I seen talking about reparations.
Uh-oh. Who that?
It was Amina. That's what I'm saying. So, I'm a little.
So I would say, like, this to me is an issue. This is why we got to have our candidate forum, right? Because I think that nobody, and I would like to have the candidate forum. I'd like to boil it down some, because I don't know if we can do 17 candidates and get to anything meaningful. Like, you sign up, and if it's 17 candidates, Ruthie, it's like, but I don't want to be a voter suppressor either. But like, if we know that we not going, I just want to talk to all the candidates. I'm sure some of them will tell me no. Because they would be like, some people don't want to be associated with us. They've been told that it's probably not good to be like, it's crazy to me that black folks are being told not to associate with black folks, but then the white folks, Asians, Latinos, everybody else come and talk.
Honestly, at this point in my life and where I'm at with my political astuteness, if you are ignoring me, then you're going to get ignored too. I understand like positionality, but you're going to have to give me the smile and the nod. If you ignore me and my issues, don't come in my community asking me for my vote. And if give me the smile and the nod to be like, I hear you. I can't take no picture with you right now, sis, but I understand. Give me that. I'll take that because I get posturing. I get it. But you ain't about to just straight up ignore me.
I'm going to tell you that. It's going, I be so tired of, Ruthie, I don't think that since we've been here, we left a black person hanging yet. I don't think we've left a black person hanging yet. What did Dr. King say? It ain't the loudness of your enemies, it's the silence of your friends.
That's what it is.
And it's like, yo, man, I don't know. We got to talk about the mayor's race, but we can't do it today, so I'll talk about it tomorrow. You coming tomorrow? You said whatever I need.
Sure. Let me look at my calendar.
Okay. So anyway, tomorrow we're going to talk about the mayor's race because there are five candidates, and the mayor's announcing on Wednesday. Ruthie, you think they'll give us an invite? I would like to go to the mayor's announcement. Like, you think they would let me come?
Yeah, of course.
I got to bring a check. Be like, you got that check cash? No, I do. I actually want to go to the mayor's announcement. I want to go to all the announcements. So here's what I feel like at the mayor's race. I feel like with the mayor's race, Ruthie, I'd like the opportunity to talk to everybody because you never know who's going to be the mayor. And so I want to start fresh. Not start fresh, but I would like to hear what the mayor's got to say she's going to do next year. Next time, what's she going to do different? I'd like to talk to, we can get Willie Wilson. I'd like to talk to Cam. I'd like to talk to Alderman Sawyer. I'd like to talk to...
Ain't no other women got up in there yet?
Not yet.
What's going to happen?
It is.
You think it's going to be a white woman or a Latino woman?
I think it's going to be both.
Both?
I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Iris Martinez jump in there or Silvana Tabares.
Didn't she just get Dorothy Brown's spot?
I mean, but you saw Toni Preckwinkle ran. She got elected county board president. Look, Iris been in her spot for a while now. At least 3 years. She didn't do back-to-back. You did? All right, man. Did y'all enjoy being back on in the mornings? I did. I know you snoring, but I actually feel a different way when I do the show in the morning.
Show superpower.
Hey, and they want to take my superpowers away. Hey, shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody who came out to the endorsement session yesterday. Shout out to, yes, it looked like a Latina is going to be in it. Hey man, I'm open to all candidates. I'm open to talking to
We're
everybody.
political swingers.
Speak for yourself. Swingers.
Political
That mean
swingers.
you married to somebody.
Political
Who
swingers.
we married to?
Ourselves and our own interests.
This that newfangled marriage. You can't be married to your damn self. Did you get on one knee and engage to yourself? I promise myself that I will never.
Would you marry yourself?
Yes, I would.
Totally, me too.
Oh, I saw that too.
We're vain, though.
I would marry myself.
Would you marry yourself, Riis? You don't like yourself that much?
I love me.
I would love to.
If I
make
could
another
hug
one
me
of
in the
myself.
mirror.
Me too.
Ruthie,
you so raw.
Dang, man. As long, if I didn't think it would make me like, I probably would kiss myself. But then y'all be asking me questions, so I don't want.
Yeah, write a letter.
Right.
You gonna write a letter to yourself?
Write a letter to
Dear
myself.
Maze.
Dear Maze, I do not.
Timestamp.
Okay.
You anti-Maze. How Maze anti-Maze?
Right. There it is.
I'll be back tomorrow.
You'll be back tomorrow.
But not Wednesday.
All right, y'all. Ruthie, look, this is the flex schedule.
No, this
is the flex.
I'm here. I'm coming in 2 to 3 days a week.
Riis, last week she said I'll come in every day, didn't she? You see how she flex schedule. What day you want me to come in? I'll be here any day you tell me. Except for Thursday, Friday, Monday. If you don't get up out of here. Look, y'all, we got to get up out of here. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man, DJ Riis and my girl, Ruthie M. freaking Moore. And every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? If you don't like it, you can still tell them. So was Carrie Steele. Ooh, I'm not allowed to say that. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back. For Maze, Riis, and Ruthie, every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? If you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you can put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose.